Heyo, Monsters Review here. We're here in the flesh. Yeah. How are you doing? Oh, they hear me. I don't think they hear you. Do you have your mic icon? Well, I guess I'll just keep you guys situated for the time being. How are you guys doing that can hear me and only me? You guys are good? We'll sort out that technical issue in the meantime. Tonight we have some pretty cool stuff planned. First, we're just going to start out with a few, casual introduction stuff. We'll talk about what we watched. We ended up by taking a look at the new "Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader" reboot on Nickelodeon. We watched, as you can tell from the title and thumbnail, we watched the Lorax 2012 Illumination movie, and we'll be comparing that to the 1972 TV special. We also got some other cool stuff planned. We'll answer your questions. We'll talk about some recent news. And yeah, hopefully, if everything works technically, we'll have a lot of fun. Yeah. I'm the star of the show. Am I am I the Patrick Star? Can you guys hear Pie Guy yet? You hear Plank? So yeah, Pie Guy's going to be messing here with the audio. Um, I don't think he has a plug-in mic. We're gonna have Pie Guy mess around with his audio for a little bit. I want you guys to let us know when you're able to hear him. It might be the 2-track thing. Nothing yet. Am I entertaining? Let me know in the chat. Am I entertaining? Also, let me know in the chat if you like Camp Lazlo. I'll I'll hijack the stream and turn it into a Camp Lazlo propaganda. I don't know if you guys like it right now. Pie Guy's role playing is Plank from Ed, Edd n Eddy. All right, so while everything's happening and Pie Guy's working with the audio, I'm just going to talk a little bit about what I've seen in the past week. You guys might be surprised to figure out that I watched some Total Drama Island in the past week. I was talking to some people, and I guess we just got onto the topic of Canadian cartoons, and we started reminiscing, and I suddenly remembered about all these, memories and things I remember about Total Drama Island.
Testing. By the way, keep talking, monsters. Just
okay.
I switched my mic, seeing if this can work.
So on Netflix, the whole series is on Netflix. I'm pretty sure, not the whole franchise. Like I don't know if every incarnation is in there, but the Total Drama Island original season is on there, and it's in HD, which is really cool to see. So like I said, I rewatched the first 5 episodes. It's a lot more raunchy than I remember it being. I don't know if the version that aired on Cartoon Network was like a little bit more censored or not.
I'm here. Yay!
Yay! Pie Guy's here now.
It's my not as great mic, but I am here, I guess.
There we go. All right, awesome. Loud, not really clear.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Sorry, I guess I'm sorry about this mic quality. That's weird. I recently got a MacBook, and I've been swapping back and forth like equipment between my Mac and my PC, and so I don't know, maybe something just wasn't configured right when I swapped back. So sorry if I sound like about to.
You sounded good at first. Now you sound like you're in like a toilet.
Oh God.
There's like a little bit of reverb. But yeah, my favorite episode of all of Total Drama Island is the talent show episode, which is the 5th episode. Yeah, it's a good satire of reality TV. It's very Canadian looking at it in retrospect, just the way that people talk and some of the things they reference. But the funny thing about why it's so accurate to reality TV is because reality TV tries to give you the impression that it's authentic, and obviously a lot of it isn't. There's a lot of producer intervention and like arcs and storylines to try to build within these things that are happening, and they very much try to craft a story into what they're showing, or else it wouldn't be entertaining otherwise, just documenting what goes on in the daily lives of these people who are, for the most part, genuinely uninteresting. But with Total Drama Island, it's clearly a show that's written and planned. It's not trying to give you the impression that it's real, because it's obviously a cartoon, but nonetheless it still does a really good job of parodying that stuff.
Cool. I switched back to my regular mic, so I guess we'll see if people can hear me.
Apparently your microphone sounds like 2008 PIEGUYRULZ.
Oh god, 2008 PIEGUYRULZ was using a built-in MacBook.
Oh no, you disappeared.
Can you not hear me?
So, yeah, what do you guys think about Total Drama Island? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? What do you think of the franchise as a whole? I stopped watching a little bit after Total Drama World Tour. I didn't watch the Revenge of whatever it was, Pakatow Island, or I haven't seen All Stars or Total Drama Babies. Oh, there you go. There you are. You're back.
Can you guys still hear me? Oh, good. Oh, good. Okay, good. Woo! All right. Yeah.
Woo!
Talk about some total drama.
Ah!
I'm sorry about that, guys. Total drama. So I was trying to fix my mic. What were you watched the first season, you said?
The first 5 episodes of the first season.
Ah, you didn't have time to watch the whole season?
I had the time. Well, maybe I didn't have the time. I didn't really care, because the 5th episode is my favorite, and I just kind of stopped after that.
I'm busting your chops.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, did you ever watch anything past the original Total Drama?
Yeah, I watched Action, which I didn't like, and I watched World Tour, which was better than Action, but still not as good as the original, in my opinion.
Okay. Oh, a super chat. Least favorite episodes of our favorite shows and vice versa. Oh, goodness. Well, just so you guys know, I think you said it, Monsters, at the top, but the way this works is that for another probably like 5 or 6 minutes, we're going to talk about what we watched in the past week, and then we're going to open it up to questions and news. So, you can send us stuff to talk about news-wise. We saw a lot of the news, but if you say, hey, talk about, Banjo and Smash or whatever, we'll talk about that first. But,
right.
Least favorite episodes of your favorite shows and vice versa. That's a big question that I'd have to think about.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would say, what is it, that 40-20-20 from Teen Titans Go? Oh, thanks for the super chat. And by the way, thanks for that, Maxwell Shapiro, and thank you CM 2.0 and
Predon Pack.
Yeah.
Well, Pie Guy and I were talking before the stream. There's an episode of Drake and Josh I don't really like, from the first season, called 2 Idiots and a Baby. I'm not a fan of that episode. It's where they have to babysit the baby of Walter's boss while he goes out to dinner, and he's supposed to get like a promotion. I don't know.
Drake and Josh, eh?
Yeah, Drake and Josh.
Why were you watching Drake and Josh?
Most of the people know here. I'm working on a Drake and Josh video. It'll be out very soon. Not giving a promise this time.
Okay. All right. Anyway, we also have something else to talk about that I know everyone is dying for us to talk about.
Yeah.
Are you smarter than a 5th grader?
Are you smarter than a 5th grader? With John Cena.
Yeah, so Nickelodeon did a reboot, and we made a pact that we're going to apparently watch everything in the Nickelodeon upfront, which Camp Coral wasn't in that upfront, so I don't have to watch that. And I'll talk about that some more. But yeah, no. Are you smarter than a 5th grader? I personally I thought it was okay. Like, I wasn't a fan
Yeah.
of the original, and I'm not really a fan of this, but Nickelodeon didn't really cheap out. Like, I think they lowered the
Right.
prize money, but it's still in the, it's what, like 50,000 or something?
But the max is 100,000.
Okay.
Which is that's a lot,
Yeah, no one's going to hit that. But
especially for something that's on Nickelodeon as opposed to like a primetime network like Fox or ABC.
yeah, exactly. So like, yeah, it doesn't look like it was cheapified. And yeah, I mean
it's not $25,000 to a school.
That's basically like all I have to say about it. Like, the first episode was on YouTube. I was disappointed the first episode didn't have Jace Norman. Jace Norman was in like a preview for the show. He was advertising it, but he wasn't on. I guess he's too smart for the show.
Yeah, he's smarter than a fifth grader. But yeah, it's very hammed up. And one thing I've always known about the show, because I did watch a little bit of the original back when it was airing, but like some of these questions don't seem like fifth grade questions, or at least what I experienced in fifth grade. I mean, maybe in like the however many years it's been, curriculum has advanced and there's more required, but from my experience in fifth grade, my teacher was super lax and didn't really do his job very well. So,
and the lady took home like, what was it, 15,000, 5,000?
Yeah, like 15 or 20.
Yeah, which was pretty
$1,000.
Cool.
Yeah, she was a teacher.
Yeah, well, that's the gimmick. Well, I guess that maybe it's not the gimmick of the show. But the gimmick of the show is that there's all these kids, and they're the ones that are like, they can help you. They're the lifelines, basically. And the kids were very fun and friendly. I'm sure Drake Bell probably has some complaints about them.
Each one had their own like little shtick. Like one of them was good at dancing. One of them dressed really nicely. Yeah,
they seem pretty like good for the camera, kids.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, John Cena as a host, I didn't think he did a great job, but I didn't think he did a bad job. I don't really like Jeff Foxworthy, so that's all I got.
Yeah, not too much else to say beyond that.
Okay, Monsters, are you ready to open it up for Q&A and news?
Let's open up the floodgates.
All right, floodgates are open. So, if you don't know, we have a Discord server. Right now, it's closed off to new members just because we don't want to have any incidents of trolls and spammers joining. But if you are in the YouTube chat, we are looking at that as well. And if you want to be a part of the Discord server, we'll be opening that up definitely by next week's episode. There'll be a link in the description. Join the server, and then by the next live stream, you'll be able to participate in that chat as well, which is a little more organized, little better chance to actually discuss things.
Right.
Okay. So, first question from Waters22891 on YouTube. Have I ever seen the cartoon show Dan Versus? And I guess you can answer this one too, Monsters.
I haven't.
I have. I've only seen a few episodes, but I really liked what I saw. It's actually refreshing to have a main character that's like intentionally a jerk. Like there's lots of times where like characters like Blue will be obnoxious, but they're not supposed to really be like intolerable. You know what I mean? Like they're supposed to be lovable jerks when they're really just jerks. Dan is he's just a horrible person, and it's great. That's like the great thing about the show. And he goes to war with all sorts of things, and like he'll break a pencil sharpening it, and he'll go to war with like the pencil industry or something. Like that's the kind of show that it is. So yeah,
we got a question on Discord from Starcater99, and they say, "What TV shows got you guys into animation?"
Oh gosh, I don't really have an answer.
I have an answer for me
because I've been watching animation ever since like I can remember. How about you?
Camp Lazlo. That was really the show that did it for me. I don't think that's anything that I've particularly hid from people that are aware of my content. But yeah, Camp Lazlo was really the thing that sealed the deal and made me want to experiment with animation more and look further into it.
Nice. I mean, I'd say that Adventure Time was a show that helped a lot in like my interest in discussing and learning about shows. But obviously I was watching cartoons before that. So we got some super chats. One from Alyssa Swain, who says, "Is Pygo going to watch Justice League versus the Fatal Five?" Probably not anytime soon, because I still have all of the Justice League to get through. Not that I don't want to see it, but I want to watch the actual Justice League series first. And then we got another super chat from Tim Whitfield, who says, "Do you two recall playing humongous entertainment games when you were younger?" Yes, dude, I played Oh my god, I played Pajama Sam endlessly. I love those games to death. Did you, Monsters?
I've heard of Pajama Sam. I think I played Freddy Fish. If that's
Yeah,
a
it
humongous
is.
entertainment game.
It's a lame one, but it is.
Yeah.
Pajama Sam was always top tier. He's voiced by the voice actress that does Bobby on King of the Hill. Candy Milo, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Anyway, another super chat from Mr. Spider 236. Have either of you guys seen The Dragon Prince? I have not yet.
Yeah, neither have I. I've been meaning to.
All right. Over on same here. There's not a particular reason. Over on our Discord, is there anything from the E3 Nintendo Direct yesterday that got you excited? I mean, if you saw my Twitter, you know the answer to that. I freaked out at Banjo-Kazooie in a way that I've never had that reaction. Like it's literally like yeah, I've never been happy in my life. No, no. But like to like an announcement of like a cartoon or a game or something. Like I'm usually one that's like, yeah, that's awesome. But I'm not usually one that's like, ah! Like I was literally like yelping because I was like, yes.
If someone had your live reaction, would it have gone viral?
It might. Well, probably not, because even me at my most wacky is not wacky enough for that kind of virality. But yeah, super hyped about that. Obviously, I'm excited about Zelda, but like, I don't know. It's kind of obvious there was going to be some sort of sequel follow-up, and it's not like we have any. That's not coming anytime soon, so I'm not as excited. I'm excited, but I'm not as excited. Right. And Luigi's Mansion 3 looked pretty good. How about you, Monsters?
I watched like the first 10 minutes, and when I saw the hero and all the people from that quest game get unveiled, I turned it off because I was like, I don't know these people. I don't really play my Switch anymore. Mm-hmm. So yeah, but I heard about the other stuff after the fact. It doesn't really excite me because I don't really play my Switch anymore. I'll probably get rid of it, but I'm happy for the people that do find some enjoyment in it.
Got another super chat from Ryan's Treasures who says, Pie Guy, do you plan on watching more Milo Murphy's Law at some point? I'm not sure if you make fun of the show as a joke or if you actually dislike it. I don't like the show, to be honest. I would say that I definitely exaggerate my dislike of it just because I find it funny. But I don't like the show. I do still want to give it a little more of a chance, but it's like so hard when there's so many other things that like actually look good to me versus like I wasn't a huge fan of what I saw and people keep saying watch a little more of it. And also I don't want to be that guy that harps on a show that I haven't seen a lot of. So I don't know, I might still see it at some point, and I don't like hate it with a burning passion, but I do think it's a very bland show, and I'm not surprised that it got canceled when it did.
Well, I mean, it's finite now, so
right.
So if you wanted to give it an entire watch,
I'm pretty sure I cut it out. We spoke about the show ending, and I cut that segment out because I was too mean. I didn't mean to come off as mean as I was in the segment. So yeah. Why doesn't Pie Guy like the Adventure Time episode Bad Jubies from Alyssa Swain? I'd be honest, I couldn't even remember that episode. Bad Jubies. Oh, that's the claymation one. LSP's insufferable in that episode. That's why. She's really bad.
Oh my god.
Okay. What are your guys' thoughts on Illumination Entertainment from Animation Fan over on our Discord? So Illumination hasn't done a ton of things. Like,
no,
there's the 3 Despicable Me's plus Minions plus the Lorax, obviously.
Lorax.
And then
Secret Life of Pets
1 and 2, right? And aside from that, it's like maybe 1 or 2 other films. Like it's literally about 10 films they've worked on, I believe. Maybe Sing? Did they just Sing?
Maybe.
Can I get a Sing? No. Yeah, I like the original Despicable Me, and the sequel's all right. I couldn't make it through the 3rd one, and I'm not watching Minions. I don't want to give away how I feel about the Lorax, so I don't want to say anything there. I mean, I guess I'm pretty like, I don't have any expectations or hopes for Illumination, but I also don't think it's like the worst studio out there or like constantly producing garbage. It's just a lot of movies that really like, I don't know, they just don't appeal to me. They're just not my thing. Like, I didn't see Sing. I didn't care to see Sing. Same thing with Secret Life of Pets 1 and 2. I don't really know much about those movies because those trailers, not just for the first movie, but for the second movie, give away nothing about what those movies are about. I heard that it's like Toy Story, but basically for pets, but I don't know if that's true. So yeah, like I don't hate Illumination by any stretch, but I would not say that it's a studio that I'm like excited for their new film. I've hardly seen any of them, to be honest.
I keep getting that ad on YouTube where it's Kevin Hart in his character in The Secret Life of Pets 2 singing along to the song Panda. It's like a rap song. It makes me not want to see it.
Interesting. By the way, your mic is peaking like a little bit. You might want to just turn down the sensitivity.
Okay.
Hey Pie Guy, are you gonna review SpongeBob season 11 from 2 people on YouTube? I'll be honest with you, right now I need a break from SpongeBob, so I can't even answer that. Sorry. Favorite Simpsons episode from Pinata Time. God, I can't even. That's not a choice that can be made. My favorite season is season 6. There's a lot of really good episodes, and actually, I made a video about that like 10 years ago. Like one of my very early videos, I had this like series where I talked about my favorite episode of things, and I only did like 2 episodes of it, and one of them was The Simpsons, and I picked the whole season because that season has king-sized Homer. I believe that's also the season with the Stonecutters. That's the first part of Who Shot Mr. Burns, although that's not a particularly great episode. It's notable. There's just a lot of really good episodes in there. I really like King Size Homer. Is just what I'd pick just out of the top of my head, but I haven't seen classic Simpsons in a while.
I can't really answer this because I haven't seen enough Simpsons.
From Funtime Isaiah 8.
Isaiah.
Okay. Thank you for the super chat. Why do I hate Plankton takes the boot? I like it. I assume you like it. Plankton gets the boot. Is that... Dude, I don't even remember what episode that is. I think Karen kicks Plankton out of the chum bucket. I don't know.
Plankton gets the boot. Karen does not want Plankton to stay at the chum bucket anymore, leaving it up to SpongeBob to teach Plankton how to make it up to her.
Right, it's that episode. Yeah, because it's
season 10.
It's another one where it's just like fake Plankton feels like cares about Karen, but like he doesn't actually. I don't know. I don't like those stories. What's your favorite Futurama episode from Joshua Moore? Monsters.
No. Oh boy. I think I have a list of a couple. I like Jurassic Park. Not only because of the ending.
Mm-hmm.
I had a couple other. Give me a second. You list off yours.
I mean, I've made it very clear that I love the pilot like a lot to the point where I think I would say it is one of the best episodes of the series. Obviously, the late Philip J. Fry is up there pretty high actually.
Luck of the Fryrish is up there for me.
Luck of the Fryrish is good. I also like Time Keeps on Slipping because I find it to be such a funny premise where they're just missing time. Like that gave way to a lot of great gags. Also The Sting is a really good like more serious episode. I think it's called The Sting, right?
I don't know. The other episode I had in mind was Leela's Homeworld.
Oh, that's a good one.
I love that episode. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you guys want us to talk about any of the news stuff? I mean, we don't have to, but if you ask us about a particular piece of news, because there was a lot of news that happened.
Yeah.
Whatever we don't talk about on the live cast, we'll probably end up talking about next week. I mean, I guess I saw some people asking about it before the stream, but Battle for Bikini Bottom, what's the subtitle? It's like Reabsorbed or something?
Rehydrated?
Rehydrated, that's it. Yeah, like, I'm really excited. Obviously, I have a Let's Play of it from a few years ago where I played through the full game for the first time, and oh my goodness, it was it's a really fun platformer. There's not a lot of platformers out there in the world, and for this to be a really competent one that makes tons of references to the show and like it's just fun to play. That's great. And really the complaints about it are like it's kind of buggy and the graphics are a little outdated and they never really like ported it to anything like any of the newer consoles. So no matter what they do with Rehydrated, like whether it's just like a touched up port where maybe they fix some of the glitches, maybe they tune up a few things, like whether they do that or whether they add a ton of stuff, either way, like I think they can't lose. I think this is a great game to have this treatment. I think it's already on Steam pre-order for like $30. It's not even a full retail game, so
oh wow,
yeah, it's great. And Just something. Oh no, never mind. What do you think, Monsters?
I I have not played the original game. The only two SpongeBob games besides like I had one of those ones where you just plug it in and like SpongeBob's nose is a controller, or a joystick. I had one of those things.
I had that plug and play thing with the rip off Donkey Kong with the chum bucket.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I had that, and I'm pretty sure I had like maybe a couple Game Boy or DS games. But other than that, the only SpongeBob games I ever played were the SquarePants movie game for the GameCube, and then Atlantis SquarePants for the Wii.
Oh God, I'm sorry. I played that one too. Okay, yeah. Optimistic Outsider. That's what I was gonna say. Because one of the notable things is that Mr. Krabs isn't voiced by his voice actor in Battle for Bikini Bottom, and he along with Mermaid Man are the only two. I think Barnacle Boy was voiced by his actor. Of course, there's no fixing that with Mermaid Man now,
or Barnacle Boy.
Right,
yeah.
But with Mr. Krabs, no, I think Barnacle Boy. Anyway, but with Mr. Krabs, this is a chance to actually get Clancy Brown because that's like, it's super noticeable. The imposter, it doesn't even like. I'm sorry, whoever it is, like I'm sure he tried his best, but he just doesn't have a similar enough voice. It's just like kind of generic pirate guy, basically.
Is it an imitation Krabs?
You could say that. It's a. We got a super chat from Rob for £2.
£2.
Hey, gonna go get myself an Aero bar. Okay. What is your favorite Cartoon Network show? Oh, and he put a U with favorite. Nice.
That's the best kind of favorite, or color.
Yes. I mean, I couldn't pick a favorite, but like some of my favorites are Ed, Edd n Eddy, Powerpuff Girls, Adventure Time. Oh gosh. Yeah, I mean those would be the three that float up to the top, I would say. How about you?
Camp Lazlo, Ed, Edd n Eddy, Samurai Jack. Just to name a few.
Robotomy, according to you?
Oh, definitely not Robotomy. I put Robotomy in my top 10 most unsuccessful cartoons video.
Oh, okay.
That show was not good.
Oh, Steven Universe. Yes, thank you, Denzel Crocker.
Crocker's teaching you some lessons.
From Tim Whitfield. Guys, what are your thoughts on The Prince of Egypt and The Iron Giant? Man, those are animated films that don't get talked about a lot these days.
Yeah. I like The Iron Giant.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen The Prince of Egypt, to be honest with you. Anytime I think of that movie, I think of The Road to El Dorado instead, which is a great movie.
Yeah.
Also by DreamWorks. One of DreamWorks' few 2D animated
Two guys in a 2D animated movie.
Right. I don't know that I've seen it. But The Iron Giant...
I've seen it. It's just been a long time.
The Iron Giant's a great film. Very different. Like, you don't get movies like... Well, you don't get 2D animated movies anymore. But even among CG, I guess The Iron Giant would be something that's closer to like a Pixar film than anything else.
Well, it's from Brad Bird, right?
Is it? Oh, that's right. It is, isn't it?
I think.
My memory of that movie is a little tainted because I remember one holiday, I want to say Memorial Day, Cartoon Network aired The Iron Giant literally through the whole day on a loop. And I was not happy. No matter how good the movie is, why? But no, the movie itself is very thoughtful. I'll always remember Chocolex. That's not the thoughtful part, but From Pinata Time, do you like any of the Garfield specials? I'd love to see a recast with 2 of those. Have you seen any of those monsters?
Yeah, I've seen a few of them from the 90s, like Garfield and Friends era. I couldn't tell you the names of them. I think I remember the Christmas special. I like the Christmas special.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever actually seen any of them, but I've seen a lot of YouTube poops about them. There's a great one where it's like Garfield. It is Garfield minus Garfield, but in YouTube. Have you heard of Garfield minus Garfield monsters?
No, it's like a YouTube poop, right?
No. Garfield minus Garfield in general. Someone has a website where they just take Garfield comics and edit out Garfield so that John looks like an insane person. It's comedy gold. But anyway, someone took that and applied it to like a YouTube video of the episode. I believe it's the Christmas one, and I think he did a Thanksgiving one too, where he like edited around Garfield. Like he took Garfield out of the special, and it's just John like talking to himself and like chastising. Nothing. He's like, Garfield, did you eat my turkey? And he's just pointing his finger at nothing.
So yeah, I think the special I was talking about is a Garfield Christmas,
Mm.
and it's from the late '80s. But I
that
also wanted to
probably
bring
aired
up,
on Cartoon Network at some point.
yeah, I also wanted to bring up Lasagna Cat, if you've ever heard of that.
Yes, that's for some reason there's been this big surgence of like Garfield, but as like existential horror.
I love Lasagna Cat. It's so good.
Yeah. Mm. From Christian Gokin, do y'all have a recast episode you'd consider the best, whether it be the subject matter or just the video itself? Is that no? You don't like making any of these episodes?
No. It's a tough choice because we've had almost 50.
I know. I'll be honest. I mean, we've had a lot of great ones. I think the Christmas one with Chugga Conroy and
That was
Shadow
really
Streak,
fun.
that one was crazy because like there's just all this lunacy of like Kuro didn't show up and we're making jokes about like how sick he is, and you know, Chugga's a great guest as always. He's well researched on SpongeBob. We're all making fun of like no one knows how to respond to the moon episode. You know, that I don't know. And I think we talk about like the Force Awakens or something. I don't know. It's a weird episode, but I don't know. I just remember laughing a lot during that episode. We've had other episodes that I think are really good. The Johnny Test episode with Nintendo was also one that I think was pretty funny.
Yeah.
You know, we've had a lot of them. I mean, I think in terms of subject matter, one of my favorites was a few months ago at this point with Leia, where we did I Remember You and Simon and Marcy. Like, because I love those two episodes just in general. But I think kind of comparing them and looking at what they do differently, I thought that was a really interesting comparison. How about you, Monsters?
I thought the Tale of Two Stands episode was really cool because, you know, that was my first time talking to Vox. It was cool getting to meet him, and also it reintroduced me to Gravity Falls, which numerous people have told me to check out,
Including me.
Yeah, including you. And you know, I've never really given it much of a chance. So, you know, Pie Guy talked to me about this. I'm definitely going to try to rewatch the entire series.
Yeah.
Well, not even rewatch, but I'm going to try to watch the entire series by the end of the summer.
Okay, from Alyssa Swain, we got, have you explored the comics of the DCU? I have. Since I have the DC streaming service, I felt like I might as well get the full use out of it, so I've been reading a lot of their comics. They're pretty good. I read the Dark Knight's Metal. Or you might be talking to the ones that actually tie into the DCU, actually, which I haven't read any of those, so no. From Emily Walla, wow, thank you for the big super chat. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Emily.
Aw, so happy you guys are doing another live recast. Hope all goes well. Well, hopefully we got over the only technical issue, but thank you very much, Emily.
Your support is appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
Also, thanks for for popping in.
Oh goodness, hey Chuck. Right, was it when we were talking about him? I hope not.
Yeah, he said "Oh, you're too kind" in response to. No, because really, Chugga is one of the best guests we've had.
Mm-hmm.
Super knowledgeable, always prepared.
Yep. Him and Cosmo as well. Both of those guys always come in. Cosmo's like, well, I saw the first season of Lilo and Stitch, and we're like, no, dude, you only have to watch the first one. Don't like, you know. He's like, I marathon Planet Sheen.
Yeah, it's heartening to, or you know, we appreciate when people kind of go above and beyond for our podcast.
Mm-hmm. And Chuck is the same way. We also appreciate when people come in and watch only what we tell them to watch, because that's what we do. I wasn't watching the whole season of
unless we're familiar with it otherwise.
Right. How well do you, from Tim Whitfield, how well do you think the first season of The Fairly Odd Parents, as well as the 10 Oh Yeah cartoon shorts, hold up? Gosh, I haven't seen the Oh Yeah cartoon shorts in ages, so I couldn't tell you.
I've seen the random cartoons. Like, those used to air on Nicktoons Network. Like, John Dilworth made one of them. I think it was called, like, Garlic Boy. It was kind of weird. And then they had the Adventure Time original pilot in there. And then the Fanboying Chum Chum pilot was a part of those. But this was, like, 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry for that.
The original Oh Yeah cartoons, I don't remember.
I'm sorry for that Cosmodor accent, by the way. I couldn't help it. Yeah, no, but I haven't seen. I think I've seen Power Mad not too long ago from the Fairly Odd Parents, and that seemed to be all right. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wonder what Cosmodor would have thought of that voice imitation. Okay.
Oh, the Chalk Zone pilot was a part of cartoons.
Yeah, it was. Oh yeah, this
I
is a
love
good
Chalk
one
Zone.
from Via Games 10 Monsters. What are your thoughts on Camp Coral?
Well, a lot of people have been pointing to me when pointing out the Camp Lazlo comparison.
That's the first thing I did before anything else. Before I really even processed what it was, someone referenced Camp Lazlo, and I'm like, well, gotta use this as an opportunity to dunk
Yeah.
on monsters.
But in all honesty, I feel the same way as Pie Guy does. It's it doesn't need to exist, and it's really disrespectful to everything that Steven Hillenburg stood for. Nickelodeon at this point is basically just the real life incarnation of Mr. Krabs, and it's really depressing. And I know I've pointed this out a couple times too, but I really appreciate that Pie Guy used his platform as a way to bring awareness to this, because there's going to be a lot of ordinary people who aren't exactly as invested or as aware or as as concerned about this sort of stuff. But it's important that people like him kind of use his platform and audience as a way to call out big companies when they do really disingenuous things like this.
Thank you, monsters.
Yeah.
I mean, it's because of you and a few other people in my friend group that encouraged me to go through with the video, because I recorded that audio and I wasn't sure if I should go forward with it, because I don't know, it's like, do I come off as too angry? Am I wrong here? Like, and you guys encouraged me to follow it through, and I did. And I actually was going to make like a follow-up video, but after how big this first one got, like, I don't want it to seem like I'm milking it or whatever. But I did think about, like, so the Camp Coral is based on the third SpongeBob movie. There's going to be a camp element. We knew about this, and that has been known since before Hillenburg passed. So I actually looked to see, like, well, maybe Hillenburg worked on the movie, in which case he might, he knew about this. Maybe he didn't approve of a spinoff, but maybe at least he was okay with the idea. And from what I read, Vincent Whaler, who's one of the showrunners of SpongeBob now, he said that no one from the show was working on the movie. So first of all, yikes. And second of all, the camp aspect, like the movie, even though it was announced a few years ago, it actually only went into production in January. So there was pre-production stuff, but that script, whatever script Hillenburg may or may not have seen of it, was not anything close to the final version of the script. And also, we, right now, don't know how big of an element the camp thing is. It could literally be a 3-minute opening bit where it's just young SpongeBob at a camp, which I don't think Steven Hillenburg would have had any issue with. But for all we know, it could also be like a half of the movie is SpongeBob at camp, and everything in the series could be based off that. So there are possibilities that Steven Hillenburg did approve of this spinoff. I don't want to sit here and be like 100% I'm right and there's no way I could be wrong, because that's not true.
Right.
There's a possibility. But from everything I saw, from between Paul Tibbitt's tweet, between the timing of the announcement, between the fact that they didn't, if Hillenburg had worked on this spinoff in any way, shape, or form, I feel like they would have said that in the press release.
Oh, for sure.
They would have shown, like, here's a doodle that Steve did. Also, that show hasn't gone into production yet. Like, it actually hasn't started. It was announced that it would go in, I think, later in June, or maybe early June. Maybe it is by now. But, like, it's only just now getting started. You know what I mean? Like,
well, plus isn't it supposed to complement the
movie,
the third SpongeBob
right?
movie?
Which isn't coming out for another year. So, and the movie was delayed a few times, by the way. So again, from all evidence, it does appear like this is a scummy move, and I'd rather take the 5-10% chance that I'm wrong and I'll look like a complete idiot than let Nickelodeon get away with this with no one really knowing or realizing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Think of it like I'm like a prosecutor, right? Like even if I could be wrong, I have to push the issue, because honestly, if Nickelodeon came out tomorrow and was like, yeah, here's some sketches that Steve did for this, like he was enthusiastic about SpongeBob at camp, then yeah, I'll look like an idiot, but at least we got that answer. At least we know.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm not so yeah, I had some extra thoughts and I had to get it out, so I figured now was the time. From ARC, the Clarinet Master, giving Squidward a run for his money. Thoughts on the show Hilda? I saw Hilda. I saw most of Hilda. It was cute. I think I talked about it on the recast. It really isn't like my thing. I know some other people like Leia and Nikki, previous guests. They really like the show, and it's a cute show. It just wasn't. I don't know. It wasn't interesting enough to hold my attention. But I definitely appreciate it for what it is, and I support more animation like that. It's definitely a thoughtful show.
Yeah.
Have I watched Young Justice yet? Not yet. Gotta get through the DCU. From Flores. Glad to see you guys live again. I was curious about your thoughts on the bring back the National Dex situation.
Can you explain this to me? Because I'm not too familiar with new Pokemon stuff.
Here we go, yo. Okay. I don't know why. I'm gonna
Here
rap
we go.
about
I'm the new kid coming in.
Oh god. Vaporeon, Caterpie. No. So okay, the deal is, a while back, Nintendo or Game Freak announced that there would be this thing called Pokemon Home, and Pokemon Home is kind of like Pokemon Bank, essentially just a place where you can store all your Pokemon. And I'm trying to explain this very fast, but ever since Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, you can transfer all of those Pokemon from those games and beyond upwards, right? So in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, I could play with Pokemon that I caught in Sapphire. That's really sweet. That's as it should be. People have emotional connections with these monsters. People have spent hours shiny hunting. They want their shinies to look good in the new game. People have competitive teams. People have attachment. People have Pokemon with ribbons on them that they earned in Ruby and Sapphire, and that shows. So that's great. That's cool. That's good. Pokemon Bank was a good idea. Pokemon Home was announced, and it was said to be the same thing, but it was going to be able to connect with Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, which right now don't connect to Pokemon Bank because that's on the 3DS. Anyway, they announced this thing, and so the assumption was you could bring those Pokemon into the new games, Sword and Shield.
Yeah.
However, at E3, they just kind of offhandedly dropped this information that only the Pokemon that are in the regional Pokedex for the Galar region will be allowed to be transferred in. And we don't know what Pokemon those are. Meaning, like, my favorite Pokemon, Sableye, he might not be in there. So I could still have him in Pokemon Home, but he'll just be sitting there doing nothing. I can't battle with him, and I can't trade him back to Pokemon Bank either, right? So what people are upset about, people want Game Freak to just, like, we don't need those Pokemon in the game. Like, we don't need them to be catchable. But like in every other game before it, after Ruby and Sapphire, we want to be able to transfer those Pokemon in and at least battle with them and at least use them, basically. So, and Game Freak's reasoning is like, balance reasons and time reasons, but none of those seem to make sense because balance reasons have never been an issue, and there's already so many other broken things about Pokemon. And also, the time thing, we don't need a Pokemon game literally every year, and also, Pokemon is, like, the biggest franchise of anything ever. I'm pretty sure
they're gonna pull like a Soul Silver and Heart Gold where they remake some of the original regions to make them compatible with this instead of just making it compatible with Pokemon.
We don't know. I mean, people are saying that maybe they're gonna probably remake Diamond and Pearl, and maybe those will have the other half of the Pokemon. But because they didn't say anything right now, it's just like we're left hanging. And why would we get Pokemon Home? Why would we move our Pokemon up? It's not. I don't see it as, like, the biggest deal breaker, but I think it is an issue, and I understand why people are upset about it. Also, on that, I guess I should just also mention, Mario Maker 2, they announced that they are going to patch in friend mode, so guess I'm getting the game, guys! Alright, sorry for all that if you're not interested in Pokemon. Full House is amazing, why don't I like it? From Tyler's World?
Yeah, why don't you like it, Pie Guy?
Listen. When you study media, when you watch enough TV shows, you eventually, like, realize the patterns, and you realize that the best shows are the ones that subvert the patterns. Full House, it's not the worst show ever. I just groaned because it's just the most unambitious thing ever, and it was super popular, and it's still super popular enough to get the stupid spin-off that was super popular. And it's kind of rewarding, underwhelming television. But I don't hate it, and I understand the purpose it has, especially now, lately, as I've also needed shows and things that are just like veg out shows where I turn my brain off, which I didn't used to. There we go. Why don't you describe your love for the show, Monsters?
For Full House, I wouldn't consider it a love. It's just, I used to watch it on Nick and Night.
Please describe why it's your #1 TV show of all time. Why is it better than Camp Lazlo?
It's not. It's but yeah, I don't think Full House is anything. I wouldn't consider it a gem of the past per se, but it's it's good for what it is. I think Uncle Joey's funny. I think.
God!
Really, you don't
Joey's...
like Uncle Joey?
All right, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I gotta point this out. Since I'm referencing like weird internet culture things, there's a guy who reviewed every episode of Full House. Okay. It's not me, but it's a guy who did it in text form, and he had a lot of really great running jokes, like about how Uncle Joey's literally the worst thing ever. And I feel like that may have tainted a little bit of my perception of the series recently, although I already didn't like it. So look that up. It's like Full House Reviewed or something.
Yeah, I like Uncle Joey. I think John Stamos played a pretty good, rock star, cunning uncle. It was weird seeing Bob Saget in a more tame form than his usual material. I guess the Olsen twins don't participate in pop culture anymore.
Only the younger sister.
Lori Loughlin is trying to get her daughter into college.
She's gonna be in jail.
Yeah.
Everywhere you look.
Whatever happened to scandal-free sitcoms?
Kitty brings up a good point. Who says that they don't really like Michelle from Full House, and I also agree. Michelle is the worst. And as the show goes on, like the series becomes more like Michelle can do no wrong, and she's a perfect little angel. And if Michelle doesn't want the family to move out of the Full House, no matter how packed and obnoxious it is, and how good an offer they're getting to sell it, gosh, we just cannot move out of this Full House.
I feel like whenever the camera was a close-up on Michelle, the immediate thing that comes into my mind is studio audience going, "Aw, yeah."
Yeah. How would you do a Dr. Seuss adaptation from Pinkie Pie 2010? Monsters.
There's been so many. I mean, let's list off some books: Lorax, Cat in the Hat,
Here's a Who,
The Grinch. Oh, Horton Hears a Who. Those are probably the only ones I'm familiar with.
Yeah, those are the only ones. I don't think they ever did like the Places You'll Go. That would make a good short, though. I think that's that's what I'll say. I would do shorts, right? I would do like 3 to 7 minute shorts. You could even like make this internet shorts and make them be like limited animation, but like it looks like straight out of the pictures in the books from the Dr. Seuss books. Do adapt things. I think Daisy Head Maisie had an adaptation. Like the original Lorax, like a 2D animated old one, but like do stuff like All the Places You'll Go and Green Eggs and Ham and stuff that that's getting a TV show. Remember, don't forget.
Nickelodeon.
No, it's not Nickelodeon. That's Netflix.
Oh, that's right.
Anyway, do one short per thing, and basically, you don't have to make it too big or flashy, but just kind of represent the stories as they were.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that more later. There's also a kids show. I think Defunct Land, I want to say. Defunct TV. I think he did one on The Cat in the Hat Knows a Lot About That, which was like a puppet show. It's like a Henson thing.
Yeah.
I never saw it, but it seemed cool from the way they described it.
Yeah, I remember very little of the Mike Myers Cat in the Hat movie.
I never saw it, thankfully. I saw The Grinch. I liked The Grinch as a kid, but like...
Jim Carrey Grinch?
Yeah, as a kid, Monsters. Not the one that came out a few months ago.
The Boris Karloff Grinch?
Yeah, with those for Act 2. No, well, I guess, you could have been referring to that Grinch. Never mind. I take back the sarcasm. I thought you were referring to the Illumination one from like a few months ago. Like,
no.
At any rate, I saw the Jim Carrey one, and I liked it as a kid. But like seeing clips of it now on YouTube, I'm like, I don't think I need to revisit that. I think I'm good. I don't think I ever need to see that again.
I love Jim Carrey.
I mean, me too.
Yeah.
Pie Guy, why do you hate Brother Bear? I want to know. Lauren 210. I need to have like a live stream where it's just like I hate I can't say I hate everything. I think that's trademarked, but just like I hate things change my mind.
That's also trademarked.
Brother Bear, I saw it in theaters when I was younger with my grandparents, and I just remember being insanely bored. Like that's it. That's really it. As a kid or a teenager probably, I was bored. was really bored, and that didn't happen too much when I was younger. Like I generally, movies held my attention. I generally knew what to pick to watch, like in theaters, that I wasn't gonna dislike, and it was Disney, right? How could Disney go wrong? Also,
Right.
I went to see Home on the Range in theaters as well around that time. But no, I just found Brother Bear to be boring. Maybe it was just too mature for me at the time. I don't know. I mean, it would be
Yeah.
like 2003, so
Three.
I would have been
Yeah.
about 10. I wouldn't have been a teenager yet. So maybe I just found it boring. I mean, I don't know. I should maybe see it again if I'm gonna continuously say I don't like it. Have you seen it, Monster?
I remember nothing about it. I did see it in theaters, and it was with my mom. I remember particularly that she didn't like it because all I remember is that there was an element of violence. Like I think one of the characters died or something, and
Nice.
she loves, like, she's a freak over animals. Not like PETA level, but like if anything bad happens to even
So
like a
she,
fictional animal
so
character, then
she
she'll get
would
really upset.
she wouldn't have liked the live action Jungle Book.
Oh no.
Rip.
Oh, this is a cool question from a guy named Crystal on our Discord server. What are your favorite depictions of historical characters in fiction, excluding Clone High?
I like the time when Dexter and Mandark made parts of the Mount Rushmore come to life and fight each other like robots. Does that count?
I guess.
I'll also
mean-
say I have a soft spot for. I don't know. Were you? Maybe this is supposed to be more serious, but I have a soft spot for George Washington from the Fairly Odd Parents, who's got like
Yeah,
a
that
wood
was a cool
chopping
episode.
addiction.
To list a couple of mine, this is going to be a bit of an oddball. JFK in the first Black Ops campaign, because I guess
What?
that's fiction. He's really likable in that, and in the zombies level. I guess he's technically a Clone High character. Time Squad, some of the stuff in Time Squad, like
yes.
Napoleon. Other than that, not much I can think of.
Okay. A few people were asking thoughts on the Frozen 2 trailer, which we did see.
Yeah.
I never saw Frozen 1. I have no interest in seeing it, Frozen 1. And I don't care at all about the story in Frozen 2. But the movie looks beautiful. And I honestly, honest to God, I might go see it. Not see Frozen 1. Not even really care about what's going on. But just like that spectacle of the visuals. And I know that's like, some people don't agree with that. Or, think that the story is paramount, tantamount. One of those. But like honestly, it looks so good, right? Like it looks so good. What did you think, Monsters?
I mean, I haven't seen the first Frozen. I remember when it came out, and I was very irritated, not at the movie itself, but at just kind of, everywhere I went in public, I would hear "Let It Go" and people talking about Olaf, and the store, every aisle in the store had Frozen merch on it. So it was very overwhelming, especially for someone who wasn't interested in it. The visuals look great. There are a lot of water particles, I noticed. A lot of water and ice particles.
Really? In a movie called Frozen 2?
But because I have no attachment to the first one, I don't find it likely that I'm going to see the second one. I've never been too big of a fan of the like Disney
Princess?
Disney taking Disney taking princess, like old Disney I can't speak.
Fairy
Old
tales, fables?
princess fairy tales and fables and that sort of stuff, and turning them into movies. There's a few exceptions. Like I like Beauty and the Beast. Hercules isn't a princess, but I like that movie a lot.
Meg is kind of. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh wait. Yeah. Okay. I agree with Jordan Byram, who says Olaf needs to melt. He's the worst thing in Frozen. I haven't seen Frozen, but the marketing maybe not like Olaf, and also in Frozen 2, Olaf is like looks so out of place.
Because his trailer's all serious and orchestral and epic,
and the backgrounds are like
Olaf.
realistic, and then here's just a big goofy snowman face, like, ugh.
Hey guys.
Do you plan on seeing the Sonic the Hedgehog movie? Nope.
If I hear people say that it's so bad that it's good, I'll go see it.
I'd see
Like
it
if it's something that I can ironically laugh at.
if we end up doing a recast on it, I'd see it. That's about the only reason. And I don't think I'd see it in theaters either.
No.
Let's see, what other news suggestions do we have? Oh yeah, Adventure Time is in Brawlhalla.
Oh right,
something.
yeah. I think that was at like the Ubisoft conference for E3. It was so out of place because they showed all the characters from Brawlhalla,
right.
and then all of a sudden you see Finn and Jake pop out, and you're like, "What?" Because the show's been over for a year or two now. It's
well,
a year. Because Cartoon Network usually doesn't reference too much of their stuff by the time it's gone. But I guess
right.
Adventure Time still has its base out there. They're very Finn and Jake and Princess Bubblegum and Ice King. They're all very recognizable characters, even if they're not entirely in fashion anymore. So,
am I gonna do another review on Teen Titans? No, probably not. Or a season review? Nah. There's someone else that already reviewed all of it, and also on the recast we talk about Teen Titans every so often. So
yeah,
we'll cover it more here.
Either version.
Well, I guess we haven't really talked about original Teen Titans in ages because we've been comparing Teen Titans Go to all sorts of other things. But there's comparisons that can and will be made.
Yeah.
I have not seen VeggieTales. I know what it is. I've seen clips. Not something I was shown when I was younger. Did you ever see it?
Yeah. No. Apparently they're remaking it too. I don't know.
Huh. Yeah, we only have one more month until the BoJack Horseman season 1 and 2 Blu-ray. I am so excited. I mean, I have it pre-ordered, so one day it's just gonna show up, and I'm gonna be happy.
Yeah. Get your coasters.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about Just Dance 2010 releasing on the Wii, making it the console to outlive the Wii U? I think it's gonna win a Kids' Choice Award again this year.
Oh yeah.
Did it win this past year? All I know is it's won.
I don't remember.
It's won. It has won. It's like every year. I swear, Just Dance pays off Nickelodeon, not to win, but just to be on the ballot every year, because it's like I just don't understand who would pick that over like Smash Bros or something recognizable.
Yeah, I was in a call with some people during the Ubisoft conference when that went down, when they had all the people dancing on stage and they showed the Wii logo and everybody was screaming. It's like, what? The Wii is a console that's over 10 years old. But I guess it makes sense because the motion controls.
Okay. There was just a lot of news this week. I'm just scrolling through. Oh, there's we also saw this clip. There's new Looney Tunes. New Looney Tunes they're making. And
yeah.
I've talked about my love of new Looney Tunes and how I feel like it's very rare for like a studio to try to do like modern versions of their classic cartoons, but Disney did it pretty well with the Mickey Mouse shorts, or are still doing it pretty well with those Mickey Mouse shorts, and new Looney Tunes I think gets it pretty right.
Yeah, this looks great. Apparently Pete Brungart has some involvement in this. He's the guy that did Secret Run, Fort Awesome, and Uncle Grandpa. And good morning. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of either of those, so I was really impressed with the work here. Everything from just the color, the colorizations, to the shading. Even though it's all digital, it looks very old school. The credits, the fact that it's the score is synchronized with it, that looks super cool. Yeah, it feels very old school. The only question that I have though is how they're going to make money off of these, because they must be expensive to produce.
I mean, I think the animation is done well, but I don't think it's particularly higher quality than show animation.
Really?
I don't know. I mean, they showed this at I don't think they showed the one that we saw. We saw one with Dynamite, but they showed one before some sort of fancy film festival. Like I think I mean, they'll probably throw it on Boomerang and the Boomerang streaming service. And it's probably just good for them to have like shorts just to show, just promotional media. Like, well, here's Warner Brothers, we're still relevant.
Yeah.
Norbert, we are in news, by the way. We're doing questions and news, so we're looking at news submissions and we're answering questions. The other clip that we saw, the Owl House, which is another Disney Channel animated show, kind of similar looking to like Amphibia, maybe.
Yeah, it gave me like almost like CX Greenblatt, a little bit of Alex Hirsch vibes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think the show will be like a lot like Gravity Falls, but you could definitely tell it's, in terms of Disney Channel or animated shows, both of those shows look closer to Gravity Falls than like anything else, really.
Right.
And yeah, no, both of those shows, like especially the Owl House, which we had that clip where it's like no audio, it's just a soundtrack playing and a bunch of random clips. It looks good. It looks to be beautiful looking, like well animated. It looks to be fun and weird, and it's the kind of show that I like. So I was gonna say hopefully Disney doesn't make it a pain to watch the show, but with Disney Plus, it probably won't be there day one, but it could come at some point. So I'm sure I'll check it out when that happens. Disney Plus. I'm just hoping it's the end of the Disney nightmare, because for a long time, watching like Disney Channel shows, finding them, you couldn't do it. Like Gravity Falls in its first season, there was nowhere to legally watch that other than on Disney Channel. Like, it didn't come to Hulu until the series was almost over, I think, but it wasn't in season 1, and even Disney's own website like didn't even have any episodes. But recently we have this like Disney Now thing, which isn't amazing, but it's still something. Yeah. My mic is shifting over to the right stereo. It's just because I'm leaning, because I have a stereo mic. And Monsters' input is just mono for, yeah. Do you remember a show called Skyhawks? I have never heard of it.
Oh, I remember Skyhawks. Yeah, it was CGI, and it was on Cartoon Network in the late 2000s and early 2010s. And it was an acquired show. It was about these people. I have one of the DVDs. It's Tales from the Atmos. It was like these. It's got almost kind of like this Borderlands steampunk aesthetic, and it's people in these flying vehicles going around, and they're all kind of like rogues. I don't remember much else of it, but I remember liking it decently.
I have a question for you guys, for the chat. Okay, has anyone heard of a show called Sunday Pants? Monsters, don't say anything about the show. But has anyone ever heard of this show? Monsters and I, we've been a fan of this website called Sporkle. It's just a trivia site. And basically there was one where it was list every Cartoon Network original program, and Monsters and I got all of them except for one, and that one is called Sunday Pants. Yeah, so apparently, some people do remember it. Apparently it only aired on Sundays, as the name says, and Monsters and I, what?
I said yeah.
And we actually looked at a clip on YouTube, and it doesn't even have the Cartoon Network originals like branding at the end of the credits, so I wouldn't even count it. But
the thing is too, like, I think Blame It on George made a video about it too, but it was like they call it a Cartoon Network original because the show was, I guess, produced and curated by Cartoon Network, but it's full of it's basically a clip show of like a bunch of different. There's some live action stuff, there's some animated stuff, and it's just kind of a compilation of those, but it's all from like Europe.
It's like an anthology, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. There's that show. In terms of like more obscure Cartoon Network stuff, Long Live the Royals. There's that. Yep. What was the deal with that? When did that air? Like it happened because Over the Garden Wall was a big hit. That got promoted well. That got a nice. Well, it got a DVD release at least. I wouldn't say it's a nice release, but it got a release. It did well. People speak very highly of it. Long Live the Royal. Like I don't know anyone that saw it.
Just kind of flew under the radar, yeah.
Yeah, like did they ever air it, or was it just like, hey, we're putting it up on our website?
I think they aired it. Robotomy.
Yeah, Robotomy is the other obscure one, but Monsters knows that very well for some reason.
I love obscure stuff.
I know.
Mr. Meaty.
Has Pie Guy ever talked about Star Versus? I have not. Or I think I may have tweeted. I don't know. I watched the first few episodes. I wanted to watch more, but I don't know. I just never did. RIP iTunes. Yeah, iTunes is going away, but it doesn't really matter because Apple TV's the same thing. It's just the branding.
Yeah, so we're gonna keep everything that we've purchased.
Right. I think some people like didn't actually pay attention and are just like, iTunes closing, uh-oh. Or like, I told all you knuckleheads that downloaded and bought stuff from iTunes, I knew when the service ended, you'd be out of luck. I mean, so, yeah, I don't know. iTunes, it didn't really make sense for that to be the home for like the movies and TV anyway.
Right.
Favorite Class B Cupo show besides Rugrats from Khalid Larkins? Monsters?
Rocket Power.
Are you serious?
Yeah. What's yours? What,
Just
Asshole
put me-
Bike Ginger?
No. Mm-mm.
All grown up?
No. All Real Monsters.
Yeah, it's okay. It's a little bit too weird for my taste.
But that's what I like about it. It's not like the same stuff, and the weird art design of Class B Cupo actually works in that show's favor.
That's true.
Told by Ginger was all right. Not my thing. Rocket Power was awful. I don't know what you're on.
I love like early 2000s rad skater dude Tony Hawk aesthetic.
Do you like when they went zorbing in
Oh yeah.
in freaking New Zealand? Oh god, they were riders on a mission, man. Okay. Do you remember Crypto the Super Dog from Alexaurus Rex on the Discord server? Yeah, I remember watching a lot of those weird, like, kind of childish Cartoon Network shows that aired, like Baby Looney Tunes. I think mostly when I was just like sick from school, to be honest.
Yeah, they were on during the day.
Yeah, Crypto was really boring, to be honest. You wouldn't think that a show about like a Superman but a dog would be interesting. Or sorry, you wouldn't think a show about a dog version of Superman would be boring, but it was. The best part about that show was Ace the Bat Hound.
Yeah.
Who also shows up in Batman Beyond.
Yeah, I watched a lot of Crypto the Super Dog. I actually have a clip, or not a clip, like a picture. Remember when pictures weren't digital and they were like, printed on pieces of celluloid?
What are you talking about?
I have a picture of me when I was a kid, and in the background you can see the Cartoon Network logo in the bottom, and you can see Crypto on the TV screen. So that's just a cool thing that I have. But I don't remember it much. I do remember it being very childish.
Yeah,
very dry. Just in opposition to the other shows that were on at the time, like Justice League Unlimited and the Batman, which were a bit more serious.
But I mean, it wouldn't air with stuff like that. It would air like
it wouldn't air with it,
but it would still air next to like Tom and Jerry, which is like lively and violent and crazy. And then Crypto, I remember it's just a lot of talking. Like,
I mean, don't forget Tickle You also existed.
Oh God, I don't want to be no. I try to forget that Cartoon Network tried to tickle me. But okay, KO sure didn't forget. Have you heard about Bernard the Polar Bear? Used to air late nights on late 2000s Boomerang. I've never heard of it. What's it about, Monster?
He's a CGI polar bear, and it's these little shorts, and it's he's basically just a clumsy bear. It's
Norm of the North.
No, it's better, it's much better than Norm of the North. But there's not much else to really explain about it. It's just bear finding himself in these weird scenarios. It's CGI.
I have a question, Monsters, for you.
Okay.
How do you feel about CG cartoons in general? Because here's the thing. I was thinking about it, and I'm like, I don't have anything against CG on TV. Like, I prefer traditional animation because I don't think the CG is there yet on TV. Like, it looks passable, but it's not amazing. And I was thinking about it, and I'm like, I don't think I like any CG cartoons except for Jimmy Neutron and the How to Train Your Dragon series. Like, I think those might be the only two, unless I'm forgetting something important. I didn't like Tack. I didn't like Barnyard. I know you probably like Barnyard.
I like Barnyard.
Because I don't like Barnyard. I didn't like the Penguins of Madagascar. Like, I don't know. Like, it's weird. It's just like Jimmy Neutron.
Chum Chum.
Oh God, yeah, no, not Fanboy and Chum Chum. How about what are your favorite CG cartoons?
Um, I might need some of you guys in the chat to list off some to kind of refresh my memory. But off the
Garfield?
top of my head, oh no, not the Garfield show. I do not like the Garfield show.
Planet Sheen
Um,
sees.
oh no, not Planet Sheensies. I am not watching Planet Sheensies. Uh, Jimmy
Oh,
Neutron.
TMNT 2012. That's right. I mean, as you may know, we have not seen that much of that, but I've heard really good things about it, but I haven't seen it, so I can't say that's a show I like. Code Lyoko,
Yeah.
I didn't watch it.
Oh, that's another one. I love Code Lyoko. I made a whole retrospect on Magoozy. That was a great block. So yeah, Stormhawks. Stormhawks was pretty good.
Veggie Trails, I didn't watch. Oh, you like Clone Wars? Well, you like the other
Oh
Clone Wars,
yeah,
but
well I like both of them. But yeah, especially I like the 2003 one more, but I also do like the 2008 CGI one.
oh yeah, people are saying good things about Miraculous Ladybug, but I haven't seen it. Maybe I just have this like implicit bias that's making me just avoid them. I don't know. I mean, I will say that now, like when there's so many options of what to watch, there is a certain aspect of like it has to be visually striking, like in promos
Right.
and stuff. You know what I mean? Not like, you know, I'm a snob, but like when you have so many things that are recommended to you and one thing like looks better, you're just gonna watch that, you know?
Yeah.
Owl House looks really nice, so I'd watch that. Whereas like Milo Murphy's Law does not look very great. It's kind of standard cartoon.
I want to. This goes out to you, Pie Guy, and anyone in the chat. Do you remember a show? I think it was called Pet Alien on Cartoon Network.
Pet Alien?
Yeah, something. It was called something like Pet Alien, but it was on in the mid 2000s. It aired along stuff like Atomic Betty.
What about wait? What about Chopsaki Chooks? That's a
oh, Chopsaki Chucks.
God,
Oh my god.
I feel like it's a hate crime just to say that show's name.
Yeah, but Pet Alien, it was a CGI show, and I have a DVD of it. I remember liking it when it was on, but I've tried to go back and watch it, and it's not good.
Were you asking me a question?
That was the question.
Okay.
If you've heard of Pet Alien.
Oh yeah, no, okay, I answered it. From Gravity Artist, I like your bill icon. Thanks for the super chat. You said, "Do you remember a show called League of Super Evil?"
Yeah,
I don't.
that's another CGI show that was on in the late 2000s on Cartoon Network. And it was yeah, there was like these different people. There was a really short like red guy. There was a tall guy that had like glasses and red hair, and basically they were just a group of you know, unsophisticated supervillains that worked together and tried to cause crimes and stuff. I don't remember the name of it specifically. Maybe somebody in the chat knows, but there was a Flash game on the Cartoon Network website it was almost like you launched them up on a rocket, all the characters, and like you tried to get them as high as you could into space. I don't remember the name of the game exactly, but I used to spend hours playing that on the Cartoon Network website.
Welcome to the Dump says favorite show about things falling over. Rugrats.
Wayside.
From M62259, Dipper Pines, Finn, and Steven Universe. Who would survive a Danganronpa killing game? I think you've asked me this before. Oh god. I mean, I think Dipper and Finn would. I don't think Steven would. Steven's too innocent and pure. Like, Steven would definitely be a victim. Monsters, you have no idea what I'm talking about. I can tell.
Yeah, I don't know Danganronpa.
Oh god, yeah, the Alvin and the Chipmunks reboot on Nick was another CG show. See, I don't know. It's like I don't like them or I haven't watched them. What?
I said it does well in the ratings.
Oh, sorry. The proper show's name is Alvin.
Alvin.
Did I ever watch Wow Wubsy? No, I was a little too old for that.
Yeah, that was a
I
Nick
think
Jr.
that was
show.
after, yeah.
The game I was thinking of is called Super Evil Air Voltar from League of Super Evil.
Have you seen Big City Greens? I have not.
I also have not, but I heard that Rob Renzetti works on it, and I
Ooh.
like a lot of the stuff that he has done.
Good old Robbie Renzabi. That's a,
Robbie Rodden.
no. They talk about that in the Gravity Falls commentary that they Hirsch would be so sleep deprived, and they call him like Robbie Renzabi just because it was funny. Rob
Robbie
Renzetti,
Shapiro.
Rob Renzetti was like the old guard on that show. Like Hirsch had a lot of people that were like up and comers in the industry, and like great people, but like Renzetti was the only one on the staff who had really like worked on a show before, so he knew actually how to run a show. So he was kind of
Right.
like the dad that had to corral these crazy kids. That's how they describe him in the commentaries anyway. And he seems like a super cool dude.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching like documentaries of him working with like Craig McCracken, Paul Rudish, and Gunny Tartakovsky out of a trailer in the Hanna-Barbera lot in the '90s, and that's where they got their start working on shows.
Yeah, he's great. I mean, he's got his hand in like a lot of different shows. Like it's kind of funny because to me anyway, I know him more for his work on other projects than his own show, which was My Life as a Teenage Robot, which is it's a fine
Right.
show. I don't like dislike it, but
I like it.
I don't think it's prolific, I guess. It's not.
I mean, it's not iconic if that's what you're trying to do.
Yeah. It definitely has a lot of fans. I mean, there's fans that are trying to reboot it themselves, basically. But it's not something like Rugrats or Danny Phantom, even that has a really big following even to this day. What has been the best meme that has spawned from Gravity Falls? Either but her aim is getting better, or when Garglestain goes up to the picture and he's like, "This is art." That's a pretty good meme. Oh, this is an interesting question from Pinata Time. Do you like the show Home Movies? Have you ever seen it, Monsters?
Yeah, I like home movies.
That's
Do you like it?
Thanks for the great commentary. Yeah, no, it's been a while since I've seen it, but it was one of those Adult Swim shows that like I don't know, like I mean, obviously the premise kind of resonates with me, like being a kid making home movies, making
Right.
like wanting to make stuff like I did that, like lots of people that dream of being in the film industry have that sort of childhood, and I feel like it kind of touched on
Right.
a not universal, but a universal to a certain subset of people idea. And it had H. John Benjamin as Coach McGurk, so basically doing the same stuff he's still doing on Archer and Bob's Burgers. So you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah. I remember the aesthetic being the main thing that I always paid attention to.
Yeah, it was
Just kind of like the Microsoft Paint, really disproportionate, squiggly stuff.
right. It's funny because that's like the only other show aside from Ed, Edd n Eddy that's like squiggle vision.
Yeah.
Someone said the name of something that I worked on when I was young and then retracted it. Thank you. We don't need that being found. What was my favorite part of playing SpongeBob Creature from the Krusty Krab? When it was over. I don't know if I cut it out or not. When Cosmo was on last week or 2 weeks, last week.
Yeah.
We talked about a lot of stuff. We went off on a lot of tangents, and it was good material, but like we just veered off the subject matter, so some of it just had to be cut. I don't know if we cut the part where me and him were like arguing over Creature for the Krusty Krab, but I played it on the Wii, if that means anything, and the motion controls stand out as like one of the worst parts of that experience.
Yeah.
What is the worst episode of your favorite show? What's the worst episode of Camp Lazlo, Monsters?
I don't know. I mean, there's certainly are
All of
some
them?
bad episodes.
Is it all of them?
Stop it.
I think it might be all
Stop.
of them.
I would love for there to just be like a giant war between haters and fans of Camp Lazlo. Camp Lazlo Civil War.
As for me, like, I don't know. My favorite show is probably BoJack, and my least favorite episode of that show, I don't know that I have like a solid least favorite. Like, there's a few that I'm not crazy about. I don't like the latest season where Diane goes to Cordovia, or no, not Cordovia. When she goes to wherever she goes on her vacation, and it's just a whole episode of her narrating her vacation. I found that to be pretty uninteresting. And then also the season before it, where they're all underground, like they have a party and it goes underground and they eat. I think they eat Zach Braff or something. I was not a fan of that episode. But even like in those episodes I don't like, I'm sure there's things that I like about them, and I don't like the fact that I'm like kind of ambivalent and I'm like, oh yeah, there's this episode that's like really bad. Just kind of shows how I feel about the series.
Right.
It's not like if I was talking about SpongeBob, I could mention like Choir Boys or something like that. Thoughts on the Barnyard movie, Alyssa Swain? You know what? I have not seen that movie in ages, and I couldn't even tell you what it's about.
It's not good.
Really? You like the show, but you don't like the movie.
Yeah, the show is way better than the movie. The only redeemable thing about the movie, and this is mostly like a meme thing, but Big E Cheese. Big E Cheese is the only redeemable thing from the Barnyard movie.
Oh, I remember Big E Cheese. Yeah, well, maybe that's recast fodder then. We do the Barnyard movie, and
they make a couple changes,
but they still have udders.
Yep.
If Johnny Bravo were made into a live-action feature film, who would you want to cast in the role of Johnny? From Hefis. Did we answer this question, or were we talking about this one time?
I don't know.
I think we might have been talking about it.
A lot of people say Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
But he doesn't have hair.
Well, no, yeah, I just because there was like a picture that used to circulate around where it was just Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson with like a big yellow wig on.
Chris Pratt.
I mean, I could see that.
Robert Downey Jr.
Like a dumb dude that hits on girls.
Yeah, I could see it with Chris Pratt. I want Robert Downey Jr. That's my answer. Take the most charismatic guy and make him Johnny Bravo. He'd still nail it.
Yeah, it's weird because Johnny Bravo has like a really weird body type. Like he's wide, but he's also kind of muscular.
I think the term is swole.
Swole, yeah. But he's also like an Elvis impersonator, basically.
Right.
So, I don't know.
Johnny Cena is Johnny Bravo. Bicky Cheese for Smash? No thanks. Was there any other news we missed? I think we hit like a lot of the big stuff. I mean, there was a lot of smaller stuff that came out. Let's see.
I guess we can talk about Nickelodeon launched a new shorts program.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's called like Intergalactic Shorts.
But they've already done this like
5 times. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw who was it? Was it Nick and Moore? I think it was Nick and Moore tweeting about this.
Yeah.
And yeah, they were saying that I mean Nickelodeon's done pilot programs, and it's just kind of one of those things where I obviously I'm not super happy about the company right now. But no, I in my most cynical side would say that they're doing so many of these not because they're looking for a good show. They're looking for the most marketable show. That's all.
Right.
They're looking for the show that can make them the most money, and if they have to invest a little bit of money to spread the net wide enough, then they'll do that.
I mean, to think that they produced the Adventure Time short and then lost it, and that became like probably the most successful animated show of the 2010s.
Yeah. Well, the early 2010s, but no, I mean, like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves as Johnny Bravo, that would be funny. I would dig that. Yeah.
Anything with Keanu Reeves, please.
Because the thing about Johnny Bravo is there needs to be a certain level of wholesomeness. Because you could play Johnny Bravo as just a creep. And I don't think that, well, A, I don't think that would be a fun or comfortable movie. But B, I also don't think that would be, like, true to the character. Because Johnny's a doofus. Like, that's the thing. Like, does he borderline into creep territory? Oh, absolutely. But like, I think if you wanted to make a movie about him, you need an element of likability, and I think someone like Keanu Reeves would really do that.
Well, it'd be even funnier because, like, I think in the show Johnny Bravo is supposed to be like in his 20s, but Keanu Reeves is in his 50s.
Yeah. But it's kind of ambiguous as to how old Johnny is.
I mean, his mom is still kicking.
What does that mean?
like what I'm trying to say.
Are you
is
trying to say that you thought you were going to say Johnny Bravo is probably like 80 something, but his mom's still alive, so he can't be that old. Was that your line of thinking?
No, like what I'm trying to say is like
Danny DeVito as Johnny Bravo. Yes. Sorry, continue your thought.
Cover him in hand sanitizer. But no, like his mom isn't like disabled old. Like she doesn't have like a walker or anything like that. So she's got to be in like her 50s and 60s.
Not everyone has a walker, monster. What
No, but like what I'm trying to say is she wasn't like grandma age.
Okay, fine. Fair enough.
Gosh.
Don't be disrespecting the elderly, all right?
I'm not.
SpongeBob has taught me to revere the elderly.
Keanu Reeves on the recast. If that happened, oh my god.
Whoa, dude.
Whoa, excellent.
Pie, I remember you said you think The Lighthouse is all right and haven't watched much of it. From what you've watched, who's your favorite and least favorite of Lincoln's 10 sisters? Oh God, well that was that's one of the things that I couldn't really get into, dude. I couldn't tell you any of those sisters' names or personalities. It takes a lot of investment to memorize 10 different like similar looking characters.
Yeah.
I'm not saying no, not a lot. I feel like people are gonna take that the wrong way. I just mean like I only saw a few episodes in passing a few years ago. So those characters were not burned into my memory, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I can name out the entire Total Drama Island cast.
Let's see. There's Owen. There's Katie. There's
Owen,
Duncan.
Katie, Justin, Sadie, Duncan.
How did I know that many of them?
Bridget, Jeff, Harold, Ezekiel, Noah, Cody. I could keep on going, but I'm not going to. Chef, yeah. Chris. All right, campers, not cool.
Dude, Chris was the best part of that show from my memory. Like,
yeah, he's
just how
cool.
awful he was. And now he's not in Dramarama. Whoops.
And they got Jude from 16.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Who is also voiced by the voice actor for Chris.
Recently they announced there was new 16 merch. Did you see that?
Oh yeah, on Retro Rewind. Yeah.
I was kind of I was saddened that they didn't have a MAGA hat. Okay, and that's as political as I'll go. Thoughts on Degrassi? Really funny show that thinks it's not funny. Worst Steven Universe
Drake.
episode? Yeah, Wheelchair Jimmy. Worst Steven Universe episode? I would maybe say Onion Gang, but to be honest, I've seen Onion Gang a few times because I reviewed it. I only saw Rocknaldo the once. I never went back. I never want to go back. So Rocknaldo might be worse.
Yeah. In passing, I've heard a lot of people not have high opinions of that episode.
I don't like Hit the Diamond from a story perspective, but it's definitely got like it's very cute and it has a lot going for it. So even though I don't like that episode and I don't think it's good for the show, I couldn't say it's the worst episode.
Right.
I'm just the O'Hare delivery guy. Aren't we all? Aren't we all on this blessed day?
He's the best.
All right, and on that note, we got about 10 minutes left of questions and news before we are going to move into the Lorax. So if anyone has if there's any news that we didn't talk about and you want us to talk about, mention it in the YouTube chat or put it in the news section on the Discord server. And otherwise, just keep sending the questions. Monsters, are you a friend or a foe?
Yeah. Both.
Okay.
I'm a best frenemies. Wasn't that a Disney Channel movie? Best frenemies?
I mean, it's a SpongeBob episode. I'm a Karen 2.0. That'd be a fun game. What SpongeBob title describes you the most?
Something smells.
Artist unknown. Yeah, send in what SpongeBob episode describes you the best. What hemisphere am I in? I am in
the Western.
The Western.
West.
I mean, I'm in America.
the best SpongeBob title that describes me. I'm with stupid. I'm joking.
Hey. Wow.
Just kidding. Probably Krusty Krab training video.
Ooh, am I a Zoe or a Zelda? I don't.
Zoe 101.
No, it's from BoJack. Whichever one was like the more introverted one. I think it was Zelda. And it was Zoe, not Zoe. I'm dumb. Oh, that's right. That is news. Thank you, Toonjay. Did you hear about this, Monsters? So,
Heard about what?
you know how in the early Pixar films they had like blooper reels during the credits?
Yeah.
Toy Story 2 had one.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear any news about this?
No, it got removed.
Okay, well, there's one scene where Stinky Pete is like, I'll get you a role in the next movie, and he's talking to two Barbies, and that's been cut out. I understand. Like, I don't
Stop
know,
messing
dude.
with history. I don't
Yeah,
know.
like it doesn't make it not exist. Like that's not. It's an it's got innuendo. It's not something that kids would directly pick up on. Like, is it a joke? If it were made right now, would it be in poor taste? Yeah, but no one. I don't understand. I mean, but
like I understand tampering with history to a certain extent, but if it's something as silly as this, I don't see the point.
Yeah, and it was also like the thing is, it was on the 4K and the digital copies. Like I said with the Stark Raving Dad thing, like if they don't want to air the episode anymore, that's fine. That's one thing. Like if they don't want, if in the cut they show on, if the cut they show on TV, they don't even air the credits. I doubt, right? They air it without sound probably. If they don't want to show that, then fine. But like, come on the home release, like really, I just, this seems like such a minor, tiny thing, and it's not like I think that joke or that scene or that little clip is like worth fighting for. I'm not going to start a campaign to add it back in, but it's just kind of like one of those things where the precedent has been set now with Stark Raving Dad, and I don't know, Disney's going to keep going with it, I guess.
Right.
It's not going to be an issue until it's an issue, until they're like, until they don't, they cut out the Jungle Book because of the King Louis stuff, like, until they decide to just remove a whole movie.
Right.
The crusty dog. A SpongeBob episode that describes me. Nice try. Monsters, you might even. Do you even know about Nice Try? Did I ever tell you about Nice Try?
Mm-mm.
It was from. I did a live stream back when I was doing live streams on my gaming channel. People were like, "Oh, what's your rating on this episode?" And I would pretend like, "Oh yeah, well that one's a good episode. Nice try." and basically people would ask like what my favorite episode was, and I'd be like, nice try, and then there'd be all these jokes about like nice try being an episode. So I made a video where I pretended like I saw a clip of the episode at like a convention or something, and it was destroyed afterwards. It's a funny video. I think it's a good video. I'm proud of that one.
Someone needs to make a creepypasta out of that now.
I got a few people going, even though I threw in like at the beginning I was like, oh yeah, it was a Nickelodeon's critics convention, which first of all wouldn't happen, and second of all, I wouldn't get invited to anything like that. And then also I mentioned that like the only copy of the VHS tape was destroyed or something, like a nod to the lost episode. But I still got
Next
some
thing
people.
you know, on the Lost Media Wiki, you see, nice try. This was apparently at the 2012 Nickelodeon Critics Convention.
Thoughts on the Muppets? I love the Muppets. They're great.
Okay.
Chocolate with nuts. That's the episode title that describes you. No, don't call yourself a big pig loser. Come on. Oh no. Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of those.
Yeah. All right. Last questions here. The best episodes that describe me: Ugh, Party Pooper Pants, or Move It or Lose It. Aw. Christian Goken. Most wanted character for Smash? Dude, it was Banjo. Like, honestly, it was. I mean, Phoenix Wright would be my other one, but I don't think they'd add him at this point. I don't know.
What would he have, like a objection? That's like
yeah, like his downbeat could be like a desk slam, where he like a desk materializes and he slams on it and it like flies down. He was already in Marvel vs. Capcom, so he was in a fighting game.
Really?
Not that stopped like any other Smash character who wasn't already in a fighting game, but I'm just saying it's more evidence that he should be in it.
What would his tagline be? Phoenix Wright
Objects to
uses
this.
the legal uses the legal system.
No, it would be yeah, it would probably be like,
Prosecutes the opponent to shreds.
he's not a prosecutor, he's a defense attorney.
I know.
Phoenix Wright defends his title or something, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. What animated show do you think would work as a live action movie? None of them. Stop doing that. Literally not a single ever one. No.
What was it? Animated show is a live action movie?
Yeah.
I think we've gotten this question before.
You know
My
what?
answer was Megas XLR.
Maybe this is how the Johnny Bravo topic came up. Maybe we did. Anyway. You know what? I'll say Family Guy.
There you go. Who would play Peter Griffin?
Seth MacFarlane would play all of them. Even Meg. I mean, honestly, I think Family Guy is self-aware enough that like a live action like movie, it would just be kind of so ridiculous and stupid that I think it could loop around and be funny.
Well, how funny would it be too if they got real life celebrities to do like cutaway gags?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Be
aside
like-
from the cutaway stuff, a lot of Family Guy could be done in live action.
Right.
Like Peter on the ground going, that doesn't need to be anime. Like that could be a
Right.
person.
Do a cutaway gag that's like, yeah, it's just like that one time Clint Eastwood jumped over a sidewalk. And it's like Clint Eastwood jumping over a sidewalk.
Well, we know that Seth MacFarlane likes westerns.
That is true.
Oh,
1,000 Years of Analyst.
yeah. Toonjay has a good point about this was a correction. We probably should have mentioned this earlier, but we had technical difficulties. So about Lilo and Stitch last week, the Stitch anime, it originally was intended to be, and again, this is as has been described to me, so this could be wrong. It was intended to be an alternate universe in the Japanese version, but later on, a few seasons down, they decided to change that because there is an episode where Stitch reunites with Lilo. And apparently the story is that Lilo and Stitch were going to meet up at a spot on a certain day, like in a few years, and Lilo didn't show up. And that's why there's this rift between them. I haven't seen the episode. I mean, I think that explanation is not great, but at least it is an explanation rather than just like, little girl Lilo does not like you anymore, Stitch. So, but basically, it seems to be very confused as to what it wants to be. And again, I haven't seen the episode, so I don't know. But I know there is an episode with Lilo, so
Yeah.
thank you, Toonjay.
All right.
Okay. Last question. I think Daria would work as a live action movie? Yeah, Daria could. The thing is, I don't think these things need live action. Like, the reason I say Family Guy is because Family Guy is so weird that I think putting it in live action could actually add something to it. You know what I mean? Like, I think it could add to the joke, right? Like, it's a joke that, like, we're in live action now, and now when, like, I don't know, when you see naked Peter, it's like a disgusting real life person that's obese. Like, I don't know. They could go really gratuitous with a chicken fight. Dude, I don't know. But other than that, like, I don't think there's a reason why Daria would need to be live action. It could be done, sure. And would it be the worst thing? Probably not. But why would it
Who
need
would you
to be
cast?
done? Alison Brie.
Alison Brie?
Well,
I think she's too attractive to play someone like Daria.
Wow. First of
No,
all,
I'm just saying, like, the whole point of Daria is that she's like an outcast.
I only say that because she plays Diane on BoJack, who's not often gets referred to as Daria. No, what's that girl that played like the? She was in Mall Girl Pearl on SpongeBob. Audrey Plaza, didn't she play like?
I love Audrey Plaza.
Yeah. I still don't know who she is, but I seem to have some picture in my head of her playing like a goth type character.
Yeah, she could do that.
Not that Daria's goth, but. Yeah, you could get. It would be a good live action Family Guy joke. Ready for this, monsters? Ready for my pitch?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's live action. Okay. The end of a scene. live action Peter's like, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Conway Twitty. And then it's an animated Conway Twitty.
Yeah, it's meta. It's a live action CGI.
Oh God. Well, no, because they cut to live action footage, but now they're cutting to animation. Ooh.
Oh, that's true. They could do that.
Subversive.
It subverted my expectations.
Okay. All right. Well, on that note, I hope you guys enjoyed the Q&A/news portion of this podcast. Now we are going to be moving into our discussion on the Lorax and the Lorax. So the was it the 60s? How old is this?
1972.
Okay, the 70s Lorax TV special on CBS and the Illumination movie.
Yep.
So the TV special, basically it's the story of the Onceler, who is this man telling a story to a kid about how originally the forest was full of these truffula trees until he came and he decided to make these needs out of them and essentially make a big industry out of cutting down these truffula trees. And there's this magical Lorax character who was upset by this and protested it, but the Onceler eventually just deforested everything.
Yep.
That's the story. It's a real uplifting film or special.
Well, yeah, I mean, it ends on an optimistic note, but it's still pretty dreary.
Right, it's an ambiguous optimistic note. It ends on the note of the Onceler giving a seed for a new truffula tree to the kid who's been listening to his story. But I mean, that's, that doesn't mean that everything's going to be okay. That's literally it. And that's cool.
Right.
You would not see that sort of thing today.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't see that. We'll talk about it when we talk about it, but like, that's not how the other one ends.
Right.
I don't think a lot of things go for ambiguous endings, at least in kids media anymore. Like, I think everything has to be happy. Yeah, no, basically everything is happy. Even the things that have like kind of tragic elements or twists still almost always end on a happy note. Like, can you think of a show in recent history, like an animated show or even just a kids show, that ended on like a downer?
No.
The only things I could think of are maybe things that got canceled, like that just weren't resolved. You know what I mean?
I mean, at the end of regular show, like an important character died, but it still like resolved everything nicely, and it was a really bittersweet ending.
Okay.
But that even then, it's still like a bit more of an adult show than it is like
Right.
a kid's show.
Right. And I mean, I'm not huge on ambiguous endings. Like the Lorax, it has an ending because it's basically the story within a story has an ending. It's just a depressing ending where the Onceler destroyed everything.
Right.
It's just this wraparound segment that's given this little spark of hope. But it's certainly not, everything will be better. It's more just like, don't fall for my mistakes. Like the Onceler is just miserable for the rest of his life.
He's miserable. He's obscured, and that's the thing. I mean, it took him this long to really learn his lesson because for the majority of the special, he's evil. He's ignorant. He's evil.
Would you say evil?
The Onceler?
Yeah.
In the special, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, what's not evil about him?
Well, okay. I think he's a great character because he has second thoughts. He doesn't listen to them, but he I don't think he's just an evil mustache twirling generic villain character. I think he is objectively like a bad person, especially at the end of his part of the story. But I don't think he's a mustache twirling one note villain. I think he's a character who genuinely started off just wanting to make something, and he grew his business and he provided for a lot of people. And in the special, I think there's an argument that the needs are pretty useful. Like, they're not necessarily something you need, but they're not useless either. Like, would you argue that an umbrella's useless?
No, but at the same time, it's the ignorance is really what makes me find him as evil, because it's almost like I don't know, the Onceler is this evil businessman where he's doing this stuff, and the part of the special that I remember right now is at the beginning where he sets up shop and he starts cutting up the tree. And the Lorax goes on his spiel about, how this is bad, how it's bad for the environment, it's harmful, it's damaging. And then the Onceler has some of the Truffula tree stuff in his hand, and then the Onceler just grabs it. It's like, oh, that's the last bit I need to make this need. And it's just he doesn't care, and that's really the sad thing about it.
So you don't see it as like an interesting ramp. You think he's just evil.
Yeah.
Huh. That's not my takeaway at all.
It was just really the ignorance that made me.
But ignorance is not evil. Ignorance is bad, and you should strive for not that. And certainly, the Onceler makes decisions consciously that are more than just like, well, I didn't think of that. Like, he makes just bad decisions and he does bad things. I'm not saying he's a hero. He's not. But yeah, I would say ignorance. The ignorance is a good word for it, and I don't think that makes him a generic evil guy. I think that's what makes the Lorax an interesting fable, is because
That's true.
You could be the Onceler. You could have if the recast decided to become a corporate-owned entity, and I don't know. I don't know how to metaphorize this, but
I know you're sponsored podcast.
Well, okay. Well, let's take the metaphor. Let's say we did get sponsored, and at first it's like, yeah, no, it's great because we're able to, be able to put more production value, like we're able to get better microphones or whatever. But then, we just take more and more sponsorships, and eventually we're sponsored by a company that's, pretty scummy, but we take it anyway because we just we see it as a natural progression. We don't take a step back and look and say, wait a minute, there's an ethical judgment here.
Right. It becomes a well-oiled machine.
Right. I think it's the Lorax is kind of a story of slippery slopes, really.
Yeah. One thing I love about this isn't as much about the animated special, but just Dr. Seuss in general. I love how inventive he is with the wordplay and like coming up with different terms like Barbaloot and Swami Swans, and it almost kind of reminds me of Justin Roiland and Rick and Morty, because he comes up with all these weird made up terms all the time. Like the example that comes to mind for me is the Plumbus, where he talks about like they take the dingle bop and they push it through the grumbo and they rub it on the schleem and like all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, although I would guess that Roiland's comes from off the cuff, off the top of his head, whereas I would bet Seuss probably spend a lot of time working on his word choice. Not
That's a very good point.
Not to say one or the other is bad, but yeah.
Right. And also the aesthetic of it's great, just all like the disproportionate objects and.
Oh yeah, no, I love the visuals of this thing. Like the color choice is really interesting. It looks like a Dr. Seuss book. Like they very faithfully recreated it. The choice of having the Onceler continue to be like, I believe as is in the book, just a pair of hands basically.
Yeah, he's obscured.
It really, it helps make it be about anyone.
Right.
That's because the Onceler is not really a character. He's he's kind of like a stand-in for any number of people or decisions you could make.
He couldn't even be like. There's a chance he's not even a human. Like he could be a creature.
Right. Yeah, we don't. He could be the Grinch.
Yeah, he could be.
Grinch put on some gloves, and there we go.
A cool thing I found out after the fact is that a voice actor named Bob Holt, he actually provided the voice for both the Lorax and the Onceler.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, especially in their like dialogue scenes in the factory and stuff.
All right, let's talk about the Lorax, the character the Lorax.
Okay.
I don't like him.
Really?
I think in the TV special, and I'm overall relatively positive on the special. I like the messages they're going for, and I think they hit some of them on the head. I like the visuals, and it definitely like held my attention pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
But the Lorax himself is not good, because here's the thing. The Lorax shows up, and as soon as the Onceler cuts down one tree, he starts going off about like, how dare you cut down this tree? Like, he gets angry with the Onceler. The Onceler just came there and he's just using a resource, right? He just cut down one tree.
I mean, he speaks for the trees when you cut down a tree.
Okay, at the very start. Yeah, but you know what else uses trees, monsters?
What?
Animation, books. Oops. Are we saying that trees should never be cut down? No, I think.
I have more to say on that later, but yeah.
Well, I mean, I know this is applicable to the movie, but with the
Right.
TV special, I think there's an element of hypocrisy that, first of all, here's my take on the Lorax. He shows up, okay, he's mad at the ones. He's not like, hey, this is our environment and people live here, animals live here, and like, you know, I know you want to do your business, but is there any other way we can arrange this? No, he's like, you cut down this tree, I speak for the trees, blah 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 blah. At which point, and then he calls the Thneed stupid. Like, he outright is like combative with the Onceler, which is a terrible way to convince people not to do something. Okay.
So you wish he was like a bit more negotiable?
Hang on. Well, at the start, yes, at the very start. I'm not talking about once the Onceler has gone off the deep end. The Onceler at the beginning, he's a guy who wants to create something. Really? Right? Is that a wrong take?
Well, I don't know if it's as much as he wants to create something as much as it is he found jackpot and now he's going to make an empire. Like, the Thneed is only a part of that.
Right, but at the very beginning of the story, as far as the Lorax knows, this guy just cut down one tree. Like, I found it really weird that the Lorax went from 0 to 100 right then and there. I understand if the Lorax doesn't want any trees cut down. I think that's hypocritical with, like, the meta aspect of this was animated on paper, but whatever. If that's the case, then the Lorax should have been, like, should have explained it better, should have said something. But after he does that, he does his angry combative, your Thneed is stupid. The next thing he does is proceed to say, I am the Lorax, I speak for the trees, over and over again without giving a convincing argument. He just shows up and he's like, I'm talking about the trees here. And it's like, okay, do you want to say something? Like, hey, where were you talking about the pollution, like, while it was going on? Because the thing is, the Lorax also does exactly nothing to help the situation. Does he come up with any compromises? No, he outright tells the Onceler that he has no clue what to do about if the Onceler shut down the production, he'd have to fire a bunch of people. Lorax point blank is like, oh, I wouldn't know anything about that, mister. And it's like, well, you know, you're preaching something ethically, so maybe you should also think about the other aspects of it, dude. But he does nothing. What is the Lorax planting any seeds? I don't see that scene, right?
That's true.
Right? And then only...
Well, also, seeds take 10 years to grow. I don't know.
Yeah, but he should still be doing it if he wants to, you know. He doesn't offer any solutions. And then he comes back and actually has good arguments only after everything is doomed. He's like, oh, by the way, you're polluting the fish and they have to leave now. Like, he doesn't say it beforehand or, like, while, you know, he's I don't know. It's... I don't think he was portrayed correctly. Like, I think I agree with the overall message, but as I said in my review of SpongeBob's Last Stand, if you're going to take an environmentalist message, you have to at least take into consideration the other side of things. You have to at least be willing to compromise. I think a situation where it's like, no trees can ever be cut down and all industry is bad, that's not a realistic world we're living in.
Right.
You could say that all you want, and that's fine, but no one's going to take you seriously because you're not offering solutions. You're not engaging with the realism of the other side of, yeah, once the factory's built, once the people are working, that's people that have jobs. Like, I'm not, you know, and I'm not expecting a ton of complexity from something made in, like, the early 70s, but
right.
I'm just saying that, like, I think that the Lorax himself should have been better. He should have been all-knowing, and he shouldn't have been basically like, I speak for the trees, I speak for the trees. Well, I told you so. Like, he should have been offering up solutions. He should have been like, well, you know, you could synthetically make something very similar to the Truffulus, but it would cost a little more money. But he doesn't do anything. No, there's no alternative solutions. It's either Onceler completely goes out of business or nothing. That's
true.
the Lorax's black and white morality.
That's fair. I understand that criticism.
Yeah. But I don't, and that's not to say I disagree with the overall message of the film, because I don't. I think, yeah, we absolutely need to be a lot more conscious and minded. The thing is, and this might be me 2019ing this old production, but we live in a time when people aren't as mindful of the environment as they should be. And the way to go about convincing someone to be more mindful is not to do what the Lorax does. You do not
That's
go
true.
up to someone and say, hey, that Starbucks cup is stupid. Like, your drink is dumb. Like, you say, like, hey, maybe you could use a reusable cup next time, or, what, maybe not at Starbucks, but you know what I mean? Like, instead of buying bottled water, maybe you
Right.
could use a reusable cup, right? Instead of being like, you're dumb for doing that. Like, what's that going to convince?
That's true. I mean, yeah. Well, because I mean, at the root of this, it's made for kids to, give them a different view on the world,
Right.
and if going about that in a blunt way is what this special is trying to convey, then I guess that's not good in the end.
I mean, I do think that both this and the movie as well, regardless of the actual details, I think both projects encourage people to think about nature and to think about what effects you have. And I think that's very good,
Right.
right? And that's why, again, I think the special gets across some of its messaging. Obviously, to become as corrupt and as uncaring as the Onceler is at the end, it's very bad. You don't want to do that. That's bad. And in that
Yeah.
way, this slippery slope story makes sense to me. But in
Right.
other ways, the super not taking into consideration the realism of business and economy and people, and just looking at it like trees are precious, that's not gonna, I don't know, that's just not, you got to be a little more nuanced than that, I think.
Yeah. No, that I totally agree.
And I mean, you can even see it in the Onceler, or sorry, not the Onceler, the Lorax has a line of like, progress can be good, but what happens when progresses too fast? It kind of comes across like the Onceler is just kind of, the Lorax is just kind of stuck in his ways a little bit. Like, he seems to be upset about things that aren't even really related to destroying the environment, that are just like people building homes, like I mean, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but no, and I don't find the Lorax to be endearing or interesting or a good mascot personally. I think honestly, if you replace the Lorax with like the Onceler's like little brother or something that's telling him, no, I mean, I don't think you lose anything from the story. Like, for a story named the Lorax, I think the Lorax himself is, I don't like him. Like,
Yeah. I mean, he, as the repetition shows, he is the Lorax and he does speak for the trees, but I don't know. He's iconic to me, but maybe he's iconic for the wrong reasons.
I mean, that's fine if you find him iconic. Like, I'm not trying to take away from that. I just don't personally feel he's
I mean,
that.
it's also something that kind of got indoctrinated to me, when I was younger, because I'm very familiar with the story of the Lorax because that's just something that I grew up reading and watching. So.
Mm-hmm. And I haven't read the Lorax book in a long time, so none of my criticisms should be seen as reflecting of the original work, because I don't know. I don't know. I assume this is pretty faithful, but like, in terms of like the nitty gritty of how the Lorax acts, I could see that being something that's glossed over in like a 20-page book. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, maybe that is just like the time of the kind of like tell it how it is like attitude. I don't know.
The 60s and 70s were pretty blunt.
The Lorax reminded me of the immortal Iron Fist from the Netflix series, and how Iron Fist kept telling people he's the immortal Iron Fist, protector of Kunlun, but he didn't actually like do much protecting of Kunlun. He just kept saying it. That's kind of the Lorax. I speak for the trees. Okay, dude, what are the trees saying? What are they saying? Oh, I speak for the trees.
So, you want to talk about the Illumination movie now?
You don't have anything else to say about this one?
The only other thing is that I like the quote when the fish said, "I hear things are just as bad in Lake Erie." That was pretty funny for me, because I'm pretty sure Lake Erie actually was pretty polluted for a time.
Oh.
And then the other thing is the last shot really resonated with me. I know it's kind of like an obvious visual metaphor, but just kind of a patch of blue and a sky of gray was really cool, I thought.
Okay, we can move on to the Illumination film. So, the Illumination movie is about a boy played by Zac Efron, who I'll be calling Zac Efron, who has a crush on a girl played by Taylor Swift, who I'll be calling Taylor Swift. And the girl really likes trees for some unexplained reason. And
She's a hippie.
they live in a world where everything is fake, including all the trees, and he wants to go find a tree. And the only way to find a tree is to go talk to the Onceler. And then the Onceler recants the story, basically the same story from the original Lorax with a few extra details. But that's also broken up by Zac Efron going back home and dealing with the new antagonist in the film.
The second coming of the Onceler.
Yeah, there's the Lorax's story and Onceler's story plays out relatively similarly, and then Zac Efron has a big dumb car chase.
Yep, with his grandma. Grandma.
Okay, hang on. The grandma. Okay, the Zac Efron stuff, like the stuff with him and the girl and all that stuff and O'Hare. Screw all of it except for the grandma. The grandma was the only thing, I think, in this film that is not a part of the Onceler story about the Lorax. I'll talk about that later. But, like, the only thing about those wraparound things that I thought was worthwhile was grandma being, like, a cool grandma. Everything else, Zac Efron's character was awful. Taylor Swift's character was even worse. She wasn't a character. She was girl. No. She, like, literally, I was half convinced that she was going to turn into the Lorax at the end because she's got red hair.
Well, the thing is, it's
like he's gonna get his kiss, but it's gonna pull back, and it's like the Lorax's mustache.
the thing with Ted though, the protagonist is
that his name? Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure his name is Ted Wiggins, because it's a reference to Ted Giesel, who that's the real name of Dr. Seuss.
Oh.
Does he actually care about the environment, or is he just doing this to impress the girl?
See, that's the thing.
Because that's the whole reason why this story even happens in the first place. He needs to find a tree so he can get a kiss from this girl.
I know, and apparently the Onceler's redemption, right? It's not planting the seed himself. It's instead waiting on this, holding the seed for like 6 decades until the right person who cares about the environment comes along. Except, whoops, that kid just wanted a kiss from a cute girl that's like 10 years older than him. Uh-oh. Yeah, way to trust him with that.
Yeah.
Oh. Dude, according to Pinkie Pie, They changed the line in the book about Lake Erie being polluted after it was cleaned. I don't know if that's true or not, but I find that amusing.
That's pretty funny.
Cynical says the trees are just perpetually screaming, and that's why the Lorax never talks for them. Okay. Did you enjoy? So, ignoring the parts that are actually the Lorax and the Onceler, did you enjoy anything about O'Hare and Tim?
No, I did not.
Okay, good. I mean, if you like those parts, that's fine. Like, the music numbers were, like, okay. Like, I didn't find them great, but, like, okay, they were something. But, yeah, no, like, I get the feeling that they set out to make a sequel to the original Lorax story with this kid, right? Where it's, like, after the events of the original, that someone else is... It's, like, similar. It's kind of like a retread, remake, whatever, but then they started working on it, and they got Zac Efron, and they got Taylor Swift, and like they're Betty White, and all this other stuff, and then someone was like, "Nah, man, you got to put the original Lorax story in there," and they were like, "But this doesn't make any we have O'Hare as a villain. Why do we need? Nope, you got to put it in there." That's what this movie feels like. And
the funny thing about this too is that the protagonist doesn't even interact with the Lorax.
No, the Lorax.
And it's called the Lorax.
The Lorax disappears from the movie except for the very end, right after. There's 20 minutes of runtime after the Onceler story ends. 20 minutes, and that's not including the probably 15-20 minutes in the beginning of the film that have nothing to do with the Lorax or the Onceler.
Yeah, just kind of world building Thneedsville.
Yeah, it's. God. Okay, I will say, honestly, in all honesty, the part with the Lorax and the Onceler, I enjoyed.
Which part? Just like the overall story?
Yes, there are bits of it that I disagree with, and I think are dumb, like the fact that the minions are the woodland creatures are just the minions now. I don't like that, but in general, I think the Lorax was actually an interesting, charming character. I think Danny DeVito did a good job with him.
Yeah.
He's still kind of like a little mean, but he's not as mean. He's not harsh. He's just kind of like, he's got his principles and like, hey, I'm here to protect the trees and that's my gig. And
you can see the regret that he has too after they push his bed into the water.
And I feel like this movie, that part of the movie actually fixes a few problems. For instance, the movie suggests that there is a way to harmlessly harvest the truffula trees. Instead of cutting them down, they can just pick pieces off, right? That makes sense. The pieces will grow back, presumably. And they give a good explanation of how, like, yeah, he could still have a Sneed business. It's just not going to be as efficient as if he cut the trees down. But instead, he opted to go for the greedier option, right?
Right.
That's good writing. That fixes an issue I had with the original.
That's true.
I also like that the Thneeds in the movie seem a little more useless, as evidenced by, like, he gives like an infomercial pitch for him. You know, it's like, oh, it's a sham wow. Like, they seem a little more extraneous, and nobody wanted a Thneed in the first place. It only caught on because of a dumb fashion trend, thereby showing that these aren't useful items. They really like, it's like a weird looking scarf, basically. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's a good fix. Like, and I think the Lorax being, he's not angry at the end of the film. He's just disappointed. He's just really, really disappointed. And I think that hits home a lot more. Seeing him be like, "Oh, you've done it now," that doesn't resonate with me. Seeing him be like, "Well, I hope you find something better after all this is over." Like, you know, that's like,
right.
ooh. You know, so
well, how do you feel overall about the fact that they basically turned the Onceler into a human?
I don't mind it. Honestly, I love the stylistic choice for the 30-minute animated thing to have him as just hands, but for a feature film, I get it. You know, they still do the thing where he's obscured in the present day scenes for most of them.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense. I think it does remove that element of it could the Onceler could be you, but I think also it gives him a more interesting backstory. It gives him that his family didn't believe in him. He wants to make needs, not because he's just like trying to get rich or just because he's just a business guy. He's doing it because he had a vision, he had a dream, and he set out to make it, and he's gonna do it. And he experienced the first real success in his life.
Well, yeah, until he wants to quote unquote do it all and win the support of his family over. He's a pretty likable character. He plays the guitar. He's pretty charming. You know, he's pretty innocent.
He agrees to not cut down the trees.
Yeah.
That exchange makes a lot more sense. Like the early parts where, you know, he understands why you can't just cut down the trees. Now, things that I don't like about this part of the movie, aside from the woodland creatures being the minions, they're also gluttonous, including the Lorax. They overeat on pancakes and marshmallows, and I feel like that doesn't make any sense in your fable about how you shouldn't go overboard, you shouldn't be greedy. Why? Like, I know they're not harming anyone.
I wasn't a fan of that slow motion marshmallow sequence.
Yeah, like, okay, they're not harming anyone by eating the marshmallows, but like, hey, guess what? Marshmallows are made in a factory. Ooh, uh-oh. And then also another weird thing is that after the adventure with the bed and in the lake, all the creatures move into the Onceler's house, which I feel like could have been used as a way to be like, hey, you moved into our environment. This is what it's like when we do the same to you, right? Like a little bit of like, oh, but the movie doesn't point that out. There's no, and this is after he agrees to stop harming the trees. So if I'm understanding this correctly, the woodland creatures really don't need the trees because they could just live in the Onceler's home. Why do they need the trees? The Onceler's cooking for them. like, do they need the fruit? No, he's making food for them.
I mean, I guess it provides them with happiness. You know, they're all bouncy and singing, and
it's just, I don't know. I just found that to be kind of hypocritical.
I do really like the bears though, and in the movie, they're just like, I don't know, like you know how I love like backup singing characters and stuff like that. That's another reason why I love the O'Hare delivery dude. I thought he was hilarious.
His name's Sai.
Yeah, just seeing Sai, like this rather large dude with a really high pitched singing voice going all crazy. I don't know. I find that really funny. just like in general in an animated movie or TV show when a character is when a character's voice is juxtaposed with like a really weird singing voice, like in Band Geeks with SpongeBob. I don't know. I find that stuff really funny for some reason.
Yeah. I mean, the ending is another change that I found really, really awful. So
Yeah,
the whole
I agree.
the whole last 20, 30 minutes of the movie, it's a big dumb car chase which just has nothing to do with anything. Like nothing.
More pollution.
Right. Yeah, basically. And then the whole thing at the end with he gives the seed to the kid. That's insulting. And the worst of it is that the Lorax comes back and pats him on the back. Yes, good job, Onceler. After horribly polluting an environment, wrecking everything, you sat on a seed for decades and then gave it to a kid who only wants it to impress a girl. So therefore, you're redeemed. No.
The thing that bothers me about this movie...
Oh, sorry.
No, you go.
The original Onceler had to live with his misery. Even when he gives the kid the seed, he's not happy.
It's tragic.
It's tragic. Yeah, he's like, basically maybe you could be the person I'm not. It's not like this seed now redeems me. No, the Onceler should not be redeemed. And I feel like that's one of those things where they felt like they had to soften it because it's a kid's movie today. And I think that's lame. If you're going to adapt the story, adapt the story.
Well, that's the thing. It's pretending like there's no irreversible damage, and it's acting as if there's some other place where these animals can go and decide to come back when it's time to come back. In real life, there's a lot of climate change damage that's irreversible. Like once something's ruined, it's ruined. Species become extinct.
Right. And trees, like you mentioned, yes, replanting is good. Obviously, you want to be doing that, especially if you're deforesting, but that takes a lot of time. The movie presents it like, well, he planted the one seed, therefore a ton of things grew back and everything was fine. That's it. It's a
happy ending.
Hollywood happy ending. There's not a
let's just use all these fossil fuels and then plant a bunch of trees and pretend like it's better now.
Yeah. I mean it's I guess it's like it's better to send the message of like, well, yes, by planting a tree, you are making a difference, even though you can't see it in the real world. Like it you won't be able to watch it. Like it's a movie, so here you go. I guess that's more encouraging to kids of like, yeah, you're making a difference, but it's unrealistic and it's frustrating that they took what was kind of a very poignant ending of the short or of the special and of the book and made it into a big dumb Hollywood chase scene followed by a big dumb generic happy ending where the Lorax comes back and gives the guy a hug. Like,
one thing I will say about the Lorax character that I liked more in the special is they don't really emphasize the fact that he's a magical creature. He's just kind of there, and he doesn't really display any uses of his powers until he grabs his behind and then floats up at the end. But like in the movie, they reference it. They make it very clear that he's some sort of mystical creature with lightning power and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it because I kind of like what they did in the movie because he doesn't have lightning powers. It's just lightning was summoned when he still doesn't have any powers. And he kind of makes fun of the fact that he doesn't have powers. He puts a curse on him and then he himself has to kidnap him and put him downstream. Like that's the idea. I guess the inexplicable nature of him in the original makes more sense when it's kind of like a fantasy world where there's just these characters that are just hands and legs. But when you have more humanistic characters and there's a whole world and a whole bunch of Zac Efrons running around, I guess you need to justify that yes, he is a magical being, not just like this is Dr. Seuss world, anything can happen.
Right. How do you feel about the Lorax introducing the movie? Does that make him aware of everything that happened?
That was so pointless. So the Lorax tells the story of Zac Efron who goes and gets the story told by the Onceler about the... Why? No, it was pointless. Basically... No,
do you think this movie is more preachy than the special?
Honestly?
That's a tough one. I think it was a little bit more on the nose.
Yeah,
Because they also have the whole thing with like O'Hare being like an evil businessman that's trying to sell clean air,
God,
and that's the
O'Hare.
reason. The reason why is because he'll lose competition, or he'll lose his he'll lose his business of
Yeah.
selling clean air if the trees grow back.
See, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm saying. The Onceler is not in the special. O'Hare is generic villain, bad guy, business guy.
Lord Farquaad.
I don't think Farquaad's into any business, but
Well, no. He's just like a small dude that tries to make himself seem really scary.
So yeah. Now, yeah, but the reason why the Lorax is in the first minute of the film is because someone realized that the Lorax isn't in this movie in the first half hour, and they got to put him. No, seriously, like,
Yeah.
Someone market grouped this, and the kids were like, "Where's the Lorax?" And there you go. He's narrating. Well, he doesn't even
I didn't
narrate.
really like the song at the beginning, though.
You didn't like it? Okay.
No, I did like it.
Oh,
the song where they
yeah.
introduce everybody to Needsville.
Yeah, that was fine. There was a lot of choreography, and the song.
Yeah.
Okay, the songs in general in this, I think, are all right. I think they're fine. I don't really have a problem. However, I will say I absolutely adore How Bad Could It Be, or How Bad Could I Be. I started off I listened to this song before I saw this movie, well before it, and I started listening to it ironically because it was kind of a meme for a while. And at some point, I just decided I unironically love the song. It does a really good job of compressing a slippery slope into like a montage song.
Right.
Now, what's a little weird about it is that this movie has a ton of padding in it. Basically, the whole thing was Zac Efron. So I don't know really why they decided to condense like that whole thing. Like, I think that would have worked if this had been 30 minutes. And like, I like the song, but I do kind of find it a weird choice when they're already kind of trying to figure out how to stretch the time even longer, why they would compress that particular element when that could have been a 30 minutes of the movie of him building his empire.
One thing I just realized is like the whole thing that, because even when they start planting the tree, like the entire city is still against them, and are like, and O'Hare like somewhat convinces them that seeds are evil.
Let it die, let it die, let it.
and then Ted hops in a bulldozer and plows down the wall outside of the city and shows a bunch of dead land, as if like the entire city is either has never seen outside of the walls, or just doesn't care enough to look beyond it, or make that connection.
Oh, well, I mean, there's a lot of like plot hole type stuff with the fact that they've been living in this bubble world. Like, why do they know what a forest is?
Yeah. Why would clean air and only provide it in that general area? I don't know.
How does Taylor Swift even know about a truffula tree? Like, she's the Lorax. No, I'm telling you, she's the Lorax. There you go.
Is that a game theory?
That's a film theory, friend. No, that's just a fact. That's a film fact. Taylor Swift is Danny DeVito. Confirmed.
It's like, she's like, yeah, I painted these things called truffula trees all over my house. And Ted's like, I'm really into hipster girls.
I got a really bad like Dipper and Wendy vibe, which is unfortunate because Dipper and Wendy are a lot better characters than Zac Efron and Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
I guess it's that time that we kind of, any discussion about this film has to be, we got to talk about the advertisements.
Yeah.
The Lorax was all over everything. Everything. He was at IHOP. He was selling a brand of cars that I don't even remember. He was like
Mazdas. Yep.
Oh God, he was doing like some, I don't know, what was it, like Mr. Clean or something, like some cleaning brand. Dude, the dude was all over everything, and the whole point of the movie is not to be greedy and capitalist. Like, it's, you know,
it's the antithesis of the movie's message.
Someone pointed out that it's ironic that we're covering this right after I made that video about Nickelodeon and just disrespecting Hillenburg's legacy. And it's like, yeah, dude, I don't know Dr. Seuss, but I can't imagine someone who wrote this story would be super happy with that character just shilling till the cows come home. It's not like, it'd be one thing if the Lorax was just in some tie-in commercial, like right. One brand or two. That basically every movie does something like that. But the fact that
Well,
he was all over a lot of different things. That
goes back to saying that, for me at least, he's an iconic character. It's, when I see the Lorax, I recognize him, and I guess that goes for a lot of other people too. And maybe that's either
That's
a
fair.
cause or a result of why they marketed it so much.
True. Yeah, they were really banking on this movie to do well. I don't know, it probably did do decently.
Yeah, I think so.
But to be fair, I mean, they probably made up whatever money in advertising you have anyway.
Yeah, and all the brand deals.
Yeah. Starcater says, "Enjoy your air polluting car. The Lorax says it's okay."
Well, that was funny too. They had the Lorax approved thing where they took his picture.
Yeah.
Okay.
The music number is great.
So it had a production budget of $70 million, and at the box office it grossed roughly $350 million.
Dang, that's nice.
So that's like 5 times its budget.
Nice. So I mean, obviously it is hypocritical, although I wouldn't really hold it against the movie itself. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, and in my opinion, the special is more hypocritical in the sense of like, don't cut down trees to make your animated movie. Rather than, with the Lorax, it is just behind the scenes and executive money grubbing than it is really present in the story, I guess. Like, it's not like what.
Like how it ends on that quote from Mr. Seuss saying like, you can be the one to make that change or whatever.
Yeah.
Just
like in the end of Batman. They quoted Michael Jackson.
Yeah. If you want to, yeah. Imagine if instead it was just like, so that fades out to black, like the credits music starts playing, and then there's like a fade, and it's just like, we planted 5 trees.
Celebrate the world's
go
rebirth.
plant a tree.
Let it go.
Yeah. Let it grow. Let it grow.
Yeah, I mean, again, I feel like if I don't know. I feel like if this movie was like really wanted to get into it, it would go into maybe some of the logistics of how you would go about fixing this sort of situation, how you would have to plant a ton of trees. And I mean, even at that point, like the area where the Onceler is, that's probably just dead soil.
Yeah. Didn't look very fertile.
No. But certainly dirt covered in plastic for an untold amount of years where people don't know what it's like outside the city. Yeah, that's probably definitely fertile.
Oil and slop.
I agree. Mega Mikey 75. Danny DeVito did a great job voicing Lorax. He did.
I'd also I'd also
That's a woman.
Give a shout out to Roa the Ever in the this is unrelated to the Lorax discussion, but Roa the Ever in the fan art channel posted a quick Photoshop of Danny DeVito with a Johnny Bravo wig on.
Nice. The that's a woman joke got me because it's such a bad joke.
That's a woman?
It's such a bad joke, and it's such like a not really okay thing to say, and especially now.
That wouldn't no.
Were you gonna say that wouldn't fly today? Because I mean, this movie was only a few years old, but it's still uncomfortable. But I think it's funny just because of how like over the top it is. I wouldn't say this movie is funny.
There's a couple clever things, I guess, but that's about it.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, my assessment, honestly, I found it really, like, the Zac Efron stuff and just everything related, I just found it really frustrating because honestly, like, I was into the Lorax's story with the Onceler, and then literally the Onceler's like, all right, kid, come back tomorrow to hear the rest.
Why?
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay.
I'm getting tired.
I was invested in this story, but now you have to take me out of it for like it's literally like 3 scenes where Zac Efron plays board games with his mom. He's gotta do a little motorcycle thing to get up and over the city because Mr. O'Hare bolted it down, and then he's back, and here's the rest of the story. It's just like a pointless intermission. It's like, oh, okay, cool. I have to go to the bathroom anyway. Like basically.
Another thing that adds to the whole generic villain thing of O'Hare too is the fact that he's Big Brother. How he has surveillance over everything.
Yeah, but none of it is like established or developed or anything. No. It's just like, it's just here, and the movie just expects you to be like, here's your bad guy. You've seen it before. You know what You know what those parts of the movie reminded me of?
What?
Wall-E. And I don't mean
Oh, okay.
I don't mean like like Wally's a little better than this, at least. Maybe a lot better. But no, but the whole thing about like there's one plant and that's kind of the key to repopulating the earth. All these humans are kind of under the control of one being, and it's all about corporations and stuff. I kind of wonder if this was made to cash in on Wall-E, to be honest. Because it would only have been a few
It's
years
like a 5-year
after.
gap.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess 5 years, but
4-year gap.
well, I think we could have done a recast on Wall-E and the Lorax.
It's true.
Do you think that "that's a woman" joke will be cut out in futures, like the Toy Story 2 thing? Gravity Artist? Maybe.
Maybe.
Just maybe. Yeah, so anyway, I was really, really frustrated by those parts of the movie. I just thought it was dumb. There were sections of the Lorax and the Onslers things that I didn't like, the changes. But overall, I think the changes were positive. But because I had to get kind of like chained along by this dumb story within a story, I still found myself like overall not liking this, unfortunately, even though I was pleasantly surprised by pieces of it. What do you think?
I agree with everything you just said. Some of it improved upon the original, but I think most of it wasn't that great.
Yeah, I think honestly, you could probably do a recut of. I'm saying honestly a lot. But I think you could do a recut of this film that's about 30 minutes long. That basically kind of follows a lot of the motions of use the first one as a guide, but also includes some of the nicer changes they made. And I think you have a pretty solid movie, or a solid 30-minute TV special. But
yeah, you'd have to cut around the fact that that there's a happy ending.
Well, you
just be like,
you could do that.
Sorry.
No, you end it the way the first one ends it. As soon as Zac Efron guy runs away, although he wouldn't be Zac Efron, he wouldn't even have any lines in my cut. I don't. There's nothing against Zac Efron. He's Zac Efron's fine. The character is so horrible and forgettable.
Right.
Oh goodness. Did he read as like a 10-year-old kid, by the way? Because Zac Efron's voice read to me. He did to you? He read to me.
No, I'm saying like I imagined him doing an impression of a 10-year-old, but in Zac Efron's adult voice.
I could see that as maybe like a 16 or a 17-year-old. A 10-year-old, it does not sound like a 10-year-old.
Mm-mm. What do you think of O'Hare's backstory? The fact that he's
backstory?
Like, where it's a flashback and he's like, I know what this city needs: clean air. And that's basically the brief explanation they give as to why he built an empire.
Yeah, that's what character development is like in those wraparound segments. I don't. Dumb. Another change that bothered me at the ending. Why is the Onceler still wearing a Thneed? Like, I feel like the Thneed at this point is a symbol of just like literal destruction of the earth, and he's still wearing it. Like, you could maybe say that was his original prototype and it's like a nod to whatever, but it really reads like, man, this dude did not learn anything at all, and yet the Lorax is giving him a nice big old hug. You should have made a Thneed out of the Lorax's mustache, really. The Lorax should have offered that option. I think that would have...
yeah, why don't you participate in No Shave November, Lorax, you hypocrite?
There we go. Oh, goodness. All right. So, yeah, not honestly. Truthfully. Despite... which one do you pick? Which one do you think is better, actually?
I picked the special.
You picked the special?
Yep. Didn't even have to think about it this time.
See, for me, it's just a matter... If I could, like, cut out a lot of...
Well, that's the thing. The special is shorter. It's more to the point.
Yeah, I like what Plainly Gamer has to say. Oh, yes, the O'Hare's tragic backstory of how he lost both his parents in the Battle of Trees in 2009. Oh, gosh. All right, fine. Yeah, I agree. The special is better. If you like the movie, honestly, I understand. I like a lot of the movie too. Surprisingly, I didn't think I'd like this as much as I did. I don't think it's a movie that deserves to be like horrendously dumped on, to be honest. I think like the marketing, like, that deserves to be ripped to shreds. And yeah, tear into the Zac Efron parts as much as you want. But like, I do think that there was a good faith attempt to retell the Lorax in here, and then some decisions that really kind of fly in the face of that. But I think there is a good adaptation in there somewhere.
Right.
Oh, apparently the Lorax has a ton of deleted songs. Oh yeah, that's right. I did hear about that.
From the movie or the special?
The movie. The songs were done by the 88s, I think. 88 something is the name of the band.
Haven't heard of them.
All right. So there you have it. So
taking a look at the viewer poll.
Oh yes, there
yeah.
We go. Okay, on the viewer poll, I gotta pull it up on Twitter. Monsters, entertain the people while I do this.
Da 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 da. Let it grow, let it grow.
How bad can I be? I'm just building the economy.
Under the trees, under the trees.
Oh, yeah, the original one had songs too, didn't it?
Yeah.
They weren't too memorable. I don't think.
No.
There's a song about like the bears. They're like the scruff-coated bears or something.
One really weird part that was weird for me at least was the part where like all of the Onceler's relatives were doing like a cappella. You remember that?
Shake that bottom line. Come on, it's catchy.
Yeah.
I gotta do a lot of scrolling. I tweeted a lot this week. There was a lot of news.
It was on June 6th.
Oh, so you have it up?
Yep. do you want me to give the results?
Nope, because I clicked away. All right, give the results. Okay,
so I'll start this by saying that it had 440 votes.
Woo!
That's a lot. 22% haven't seen either of them. And the winner is, drumroll please, the 1972 special with 61% of the vote.
Nice. Yeah, I added a haven't seen either category, or I guess haven't seen both, or however you want to take that, because people wanted it. I guess 22% of people wanted it. Yeah. I think going forward, maybe we'll do some calculations and figure out what the percentage is not taking the haven't seen into consideration.
Yeah, more people hadn't seen either than voted for the Illumination movie. So that's a lot.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the original is like, it's a CBS TV special. It's on Hulu, and it's on YouTube.
Right.
But it's not like it's... I mean, maybe around the time of the movie it aired somewhere, but like I don't know, it's not like it's something that is just kind of natural that of course you would have seen it. It's not like a Charlie Brown Christmas, like... Yeah. All right, so... It's the end of the podcast, which is usually when we do trivia. So let's do some trivia, monsters.
Let's do some trivia. Woo!
All right. Do you know how to... We're going to do the poll... What is this? What is this? You were the one that was suggesting this.
Well, yeah, I haven't looked too much into it, but
oh, no.
I'll see if I can get live polls working so you guys can participate. If not, we'll just ask you questions and have you respond in the chat.
Yeah, what we wanted to do, since we were having trouble with other avenues, we were going to we're going to hopefully have it be like an in live stream poll where you can vote on the answers, and then we'll see what percentage of people voted for that for what. But if that doesn't work, yeah, I'll just ask the questions. So, the topic of the day is going to be Dr. Seuss.
Dr. Seuss.
Or, as they say in Canada, Dr. Zeus. I never understood that, but they do.
Really?
Yeah, they do. Back me up here, chat. Someone's got to be Canadian. Probably.
Okay, yes, I can do polls.
Okay, cool. Okay.
I can do multiple choice as well.
How's this gonna work? So I'll give you the options.
Yeah, you can send them to me.
I'll send. Oh, I gotta send them to you. All right. Here. So yeah, I don't know if it's apparent, but we're We didn't prepare a lot for this portion. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
we're technology wizards, very obviously.
okay, so here's the question. And monsters don't include the years.
Okay.
What was the first theatrical Dr. Seuss film? And the options are going to be showing up in the poll shortly. Dr. Seuss. Hey dudes, I wrote a book. I guess I shouldn't just give dead air while I'm waiting for this to happen.
The anticipation is growing.
People, oh no. Yeah, maybe this wasn't the best of ideas.
Oh, there's a character limit. Oh, great.
How long is this gonna take, monsters? Maybe
It's going up now.
okay. All right, so this is the first theatrical television film, or sorry, the theatrical film adaptation of a Dr. Seuss. Uh-oh, people are asking where's the poll, monsters? Where's the poll? The answers
Hold on.
are Horton Hatches the Egg, The 500 Hats of Bartholomew Cubbins, and To Think I Saw It,
We'll just do the first one through the chat.
and To Think I Saw It on Mulberry Street, and Gerald McBoing Boing. The poll is
What do
in
you
your
guys
hearts.
think? Yes.
And
The
now
second
we
one
wait.
will be on a poll.
Okay, well, I'll get that set up while we're waiting for Streamlag. Or monsters, maybe you do this since you're the one writing them?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. Sorry, this is. It would not be a live cast if we didn't botch the trivia pretty heavily.
Yeah, no, this is just a tradition at this point.
All right, here comes the answers. We got number 1, which would be Horton Hatches the Egg. We got Horton Hatches the Egg. We got where's the door hole? I don't think that was an option. Pokemon national text to the polls. Gerald McBoing Boing. Horton Hatches the Egg. Horton Hatches the Egg. Gerald McBoing Boing. 500 Hats of Dr. Teeth.
Do you remember that Gerald McBoing Boing show on Tickle You?
Oh God, bringing it full circle. All right, so the answer is indeed Horton Hatches the Egg, and it's traditionally animated by Bob Clampett. It's 10 minutes, so it's not like a movie, but it was theatrical.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool stuff.
And to think that I saw that on the recast street. All right, monsters, how's that next question coming?
Oh, the poll did turn up, apparently.
Huh.
Interesting.
In German, the letter S is
There is
pronounced
cards.
like a Z at the start of the word. That's probably why it's pronounced like that in Canada. Why Canada? No idea. Maybe it's because of the Z thing.
Yeah, they say Zed.
Is he Dr. Zedus? Oh, goodness.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this works on mobile, but you guys should see cards that pop up on screen with the poll. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 2 coming at you any moment now.
Okay. The second question is, what Dr. Seuss book was adapted into a movie in the year 1957? And your choices are Green Eggs and Ham, If I Ran the Zoo, and To Think I Saw That on Mulberry Street.
Repeat the question again?
Which Dr. Seuss book was adapted into a movie, or rather, piece of animated media?
Okay.
In 1957. And your choices were Green Eggs and Ham, The Cat in the Hat, If I Ran the Zoo, and To Think I Saw That on Mulberry Street.
I'm going to say if I ran the zoo. That's my guess. Sorry to mobile people. One of these days, we'll figure this out correctly. Getting a lot of Green Eggs and Ham answers. Some for zoo.
Okay, the poll just went up.
Oh, just now?
Yeah, I have to type everything out.
Oh gosh. Forget it. We'll just ask the questions.
Okay.
All right. What is
A lot of people are saying green eggs and ham, eh?
A? Are you Canadian now?
Dr. Seuss.
Green
Dr. Seuss.
Green eggs and zam.
Seuss. Um. All right. Well, I guess a lot of people are saying green eggs and ham. The correct answer is cat and hat.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
A lot of people, including me, got it wrong. All right. So yeah, we're the poll idea. We can't do it fast enough, unfortunately, especially with stream lag. So back to the drawing board in terms of trivia, but we'll give you a few more questions here.
Oh, I got a question.
Okay.
Where did Dr. Seuss receive his undergraduate degree? And the options are Harvard, Dartmouth, Yale, and Columbia. These are all Ivy League universities.
Columbia?
That's your guess?
Yeah.
Do you want me to give the audience a second? Or
Yeah, no,
should I tell you?
No, give them time. Yeah, don't
Okay.
Don't tell me yet. I guess we should keep talking though, so it's not just dead air.
I wish I went to an Ivy League school.
Oh.
But I'm not smart enough.
Schools come in all sizes, don't you know that? Schools could even be taught by the Cat in the Hat.
We got a Harvard, we got a Dartmouth, we got a Harvard, we got a Yale, another Harvard.
Okay. All right, what's the answer?
All right, we got a Yale, Harvard, another Yale. The correct answer is Dartmouth.
Really?
Yeah, that's where he got the name Dr. Seuss, at Dartmouth College.
Dr. Thuth?
Dr. Thuth. This was in the 20s.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, he was 87 when he died in 1991.
Wow.
Huh.
All right. Do the next question. I'll get the last question set up. I got a good one.
Okay. Which of these is not a pen alias that the Dr. Seuss used throughout his career? Which of these is not? Theo Lessig, Theophrastus Seuss, Rosetta Stone, or Napoleon Washington?
I'm gonna say Rosetta Stone.
Why do you say Rosetta Stone? Do you not want to learn another language?
I mean, I guess the thing is that the connotations would be like the original Rosetta Stone, not like the software, which is what I'm thinking of right now.
Not the computer software that helped me learn Spanish. Have you ever used Rosetta Stone?
I haven't. That stuff's expensive.
Do you know another foreign language or another language?
No. I used to know sign language.
Really?
I still know a little bit. I can't do it for you because we're just audio.
I also know sign language. I don't. I'm pretending like I do because you can't tell if I do or don't.
Right. Yeah, let's say hi to each other in sign language.
All right, we got some Napoleon Washingtons. We got some Rosetta Stones. You want me to give the correct answer?
Sure.
The pen alias that he did not use is Napoleon Washington. He did go by Rosetta Stone at one point in time.
Really?
Yeah. Pretty cool, right?
I guess, yeah. All right, give me one more second, and I got the last question.
Napoleon Dynamite. God.
All right. Which one of these titles is not the name of a Dr. Seuss TV special? Hungry Hampton and the Schloopers, Pontiful Pock, Where Are You? Yellow Rocks Fight the Flock, and The Grinch is Good in a Pinch. I'll repeat them. Hungry Hampton and the Schloopers, Pontifel Pock, Where Are You? Yellow Rocks Fight the Flock, and The Grinch is Good in a Pinch.
I'm going to say Hungry Hamptons because that sounds like Hungry Hippos.
Okay. Which, as we all know, Dr. Seuss created that board game.
Yeah. Did you guys not see the Hungry Hippos cameo in the Lorax?
I don't know if you're kidding or not.
No, I'm kidding.
Okay. I mean, maybe there was like a hippo that looked like, that's what I was thinking. Okay, getting The Grinch is Good in a Pinch. Hungry Hampton, Ponfil Pock, or Yellow Rocks, or The Grinch. Scooby-Doo, where are you? By the way, 3 of these were just made up by me. These aren't like Dr. Seuss works that weren't adapted. All right, Ponfil Pock, Grinch, Hungry, Yellow Rocks, Fight, Ponfil. I'm just enjoying watching you guys try to type this. Rosetta Stone. Hungry Hippos for Smash. Oh man, we got a good chat tonight. You guys are funny. What about in the Discord server? What are you guys saying? Not much. Okay. All right. So the correct answer is Pontifil Pock. Where are you? Oh, thank you, Crimson. Hey, how you doing? The Grinch is Good in a Pinch is not a real thing. That sounds like it should be.
Yeah, it's got the rhyming.
Yellow Rocks Fight the Flock.
Yeah, my Dr. Seuss book would be The Jolly Green Giant is Surely Defiant, or something like that. Huh.
According to Talk About Cinema, the Pontifil Pock sucked. I'm gonna click on this because what is a Pontifil Pock? And was it Scooby-Doo? It was made in 1980, so it was after Scooby-Doo. And it was one of the final productions done at DePatie Freeling, as the studio would be sold to Marvel Comics and Marvel Productions. Interesting.
Would then be bought by Disney.
Pontifil Pock confuses the pull 'em and the push 'em controls for a device that places pickles into jars, wreaking havoc at the Dill Pickle Factory, and prompting the owner to deny him of work.
We're gonna have to let Nintendo know about this one.
Why? Oh, because of pickles.
It has pickles in it.
All right, we'll add it to the pickle-themed episodes, along with Pickles from SpongeBob, Pickle Rick, and
a bunch of other stuff.
I'm your biggest fanatic, also from SpongeBob. The Snorks.
The Snorks. Too.
All right. Anyone have any last questions or comments before we close out the stream? We'll probably go for maybe another 5-10 minutes, if that's good with you, Monsters.
Yeah, of course.
Sorry again about the issues at the top of the stream. Yeah, it happens. We're just
never easy doing live stuff.
The Rugrats. Good comment. I appreciate it.
The Rugrats. Me too.
Is the Jolly Green Giant one Monsters' autobiography?
I was talking to Pi before we went live, and I said, "For I am the Jolly Green Giant. I speak for the frozen vegetables."
Wasn't it? I speak for the frozen peas.
I could speak for frozen peas, frozen beans, frozen broccoli.
Oh, what about next week? Mystery. There was a pickle in VeggieTales, probably.
Or was it a cucumber?
Well, they're probably not talking about Larry.
I mean, a cucumber is a vegetable that's also that is pickled to turn into a pickle.
All right, shout outs to Mr. Robot Guy HD, who asked if I'm ever going to do any other gaming videos. I don't know, maybe. Gravity Artist wants to know what the crossed out both sign in the back of the recast studio means. By the way, I realized I am doing sign language in my post, by the way. That's sign language for Hey, what's up? How you doing?
Mine is, I'm crossing my legs. That's body language. Like I'm comfortable.
I don't think crossing legs means comfortable. I think that means like you're uncomfortable. Like you gotta go to the
Oh,
bathroom
really?
or you want to get out of there. Yeah, like
Maybe
maybe you're rocking your leg. Like, all right, when's this guy gonna shut up?
I've got my hand on the back of the couch. Like, man, this thing has awful lumbar support.
For a tall gentleman like yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd imagine. No, the both symbol. It's a running thing. Way back in Recast, I want to say 10. Yeah, it was 10.
Yes.
We were doing trivia with Shadow and Kuro, and the prompt was 3 cooks steal a rust bucket, and it was for either Ben 10 original or reboot. And Shadow said original, which was the original. And then Monsters, where you were like, wait, didn't that happen in both? And then Shadow was like, wait, yeah, no, did it happen in both? Is both an option? Can I do? Yeah, I'm gonna say both. And I didn't say anything. And then later, I just decided to roast him because he had the right answer. He just changed it. So from then on, both is never an option. And basically, it's a joke about like the trivia game, but it also kind of stands for like when you're deciding which episode you prefer or which special or whatever, like which of the two things we're comparing you prefer. We try to we always encourage our guests and everyone to pick one, even if it's just like this is my personal favorite for today. Like then go with that. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to, it doesn't have to be like an objective best of all time. It can be a personal favorite. It can be something you think is objectively better. It could be whatever criteria you want. But the point is saying both is a lame answer. Pick one.
Here at the Recast, we are advocates of tribalism and picking sides.
Well, no, not tribalism. If it
I'm
was,
joking.
jeez.
Monster and Pie, what are your favorite theme songs from Random Jeffrey?
Who?
From Random Jeffrey.
Oh, that's the person asking. I
Yeah.
thought you were saying what's the favorite theme songs like made by a guy named Random Jeffrey.
Oh.
I was gonna say, theme
You
songs.
really like Animaniacs, right?
Oh, well, Animaniacs theme song is crazy. I recently heard the cast singing it like on a podcast, like a year-ish ago, and
Oh,
it
wow.
was great. Yeah, no, that's an insanely catchy theme song. Also, Tiny Toons is really catchy as well.
I like I've said this like 20 times in this podcast.
Don't you say Camp Lazlo? Oh my god,
It's basically bingo, but with different words.
that's not a good theme song. It's just bingo.
It's catchy. It's catchy.
L-A-Z-L-O.
L-A-Z-O. Yeah, so good. I mean, this might be a really controversial opinion. I hope you guys roast me for saying this.
Oh, I will.
I'm not that big of a fan of SpongeBob's theme song. It's catchy.
No,
It's iconic.
That's a correct opinion. I agree. I skip it.
Ooh.
Listen, when you have to watch every episode of SpongeBob 3 times, you skip the theme song. It's obnoxious too because his yelling at the top of his lungs at the beginning of it, I always have to turn down the volume and turn it up, so I just skip it.
Yeah, if it makes any sense. I mean, I think I like and I guess this is completely contrary to my Camp Lazlo pick, but I like theme songs that have like more singing than like rapping or talking, if that makes any sense.
Like the Gravity Falls theme song?
That has no vocals in it, right?
Oh, I thought that's what you meant.
No. Like I mean, like actual singing, like vocal performance, not just like talking or rapping.
Right.
Like I mean, I guess another exception to that is Danny Phantom because that's also really catchy.
Mm-hmm. By the way, before people roast it, like the SpongeBob theme song is like objectively, it's iconic. Like I wouldn't change it for the world. And I'm not saying it's bad. It's just when it's been played so many times. Yeah, the story behind it is Hillenburg wanted the theme song to be annoying so kids would annoy their parents. That kids would jump up and down in the morning when they watch the show. But like oh, Gravity Artist, don't unlike the video. Yeah, no. It's definitely iconic. I'm not saying it's a bad song. I've just heard it so many times. Oh yeah, the Tuca and Birdie intro song is pretty good. Tuca and Birdie and Birdie and Tuca. There's a lot of great. I mean, DuckTales, right? That's
DuckTales.
Woo!
Yeah, so
iconic.
good.
Iconic.
I like Chowder's theme song.
I can't even picture it.
You take the moon and you take the sun.
Lame.
You know that one?
Nah, it's lame. Flapjacks is better. It's safer at the docks. Adventure, that's the life for me.
There's something on that, and I see.
Have any of you seen Marvin Marvin?
I've
Marvin
seen
Martian?
too much of Marvin Marvin.
You mean the show with Lucas Cruikshank,
Yes.
formerly of Fred the Show, and his
Marvin
three
Marvin.
movies, including Fred, Fred 2, and Camp Fred.
Starring the host of Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
As his dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have
Yeah,
anything
another
against
thing,
the
too-
Shatter theme song. I literally can't even picture it.
The thing about those movies too, like Flo from Progressive,
Yes.
she played Fred's mom.
That movie's that I just
His mom's basically an alcoholic in that movie.
oof.
Yeah.
Well, someone give us something better to go out on that's not Marvin Marvin, please.
I like the Cartoon Fridays theme and the Cartoon Network Fridays theme.
Coconut Fred. How about
It's been a long week.
the classic In Our Time? Whoa.
Johnny Test.
Yeah. Got a flaming head of hair and a super
Johnny
turbocharged
Test.
backpack.
It's basically American Idiot, but
Genius sisters use them like a lab rat.
Super busy mom.
Neat freak dad at home is super busy. Dude, I know all the lyrics. I don't know why
And
I
the
do.
boy's best friend.
The boy, that's my favorite line. It's like they're making fun of him. Like he doesn't even have a friend. He's a dog.
Yeah.
The boy's best friend is a talking dog. I don't know why accent, but what show do
It
you
is a talking a dog.
do you hate but love the theme song? Naruto.
Well, which
No,
theme? There's like 20 Naruto themes.
No, I don't know. That wasn't a real take.
Oh.
I mean, I would say, no. I don't know if I hate Pokemon like Advanced Generation, like the Hoenn era, but I'm not a fan of that anime. But some of those theme songs, pretty good, as I've established.
Pie, what about the Squirrel Boy theme?
Hey, Rodney.
do 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 do. I like the regular show theme song personally. It's like 5 seconds.
Paga, what would you say is your favorite DVD release for a cartoon? Ooh, honestly,
I have my pick.
Yeah, he didn't ask you. No, you.
I'm right in front of the DVD shelf.
You stop bogarting the DVD shelf.
That is my property.
Every week when we show up to the recast couch, Monsters is like, I call dibs on the DVD shelf, and I'm like, all right, dude, fine. No.
Oh, Duck Dodgers, that's a good one. I forgot.
Duck Dodge. All right, I'll stop. What was I even saying?
Best DVD cartoon release.
Right. It's probably Powerpuff Girls.
Like complete series?
Yeah. I mean, not only did it have, so it had every episode plus the Powerpuff Girls Rule anniversary special. This came out before Dance Pants, by the way. Although I probably would have been on there if it didn't.
Right.
It had the Christmas special, which is like oftentimes skipped in. It's not considered an episode. It's like a special. It also had tons and tons of just every promo you could find for the Powerpuff Girls, like the checkerboard one, not the checkerboard ones, the Powerhouse ones. Yep, Powerhouse ones. The ones where it's like the women dressing up like the Powerpuff Girls running around, like tons and tons of those. A really cool documentary behind the scenes of the Powerpuff Girls. The DVD menus aren't like, they're not amazing, but they aren't generic either. They have still images from the episodes. They also have songs from the show. And although the episodes are paired, which is I find a little unfortunate, like they're not listed individually, but there's a chapter selection, which is not on every DVD. Unfortunately, sometimes they cheap out on like the cartoon ones and there's not chapter selection. It's just like, here you go, skip to the credits if you want to skip. But anyway, you can skip right to the middle, which is nice. And
right.
So I think, and I mean, the packaging is great. The price point, I think it was only $60. It might have been 80, but
at the time, it's much more expensive now because it's out of print.
Right. But when it came out, like, Yeah, I mean, other ones are.
It had those the little the inserts also formed like a poster.
Oh, that's right, that's right. And there's commentary tracks by Mojo Jojo, and I think maybe the professor did the other one. I don't know. It's Mojo and some. Oh, maybe the
Monkey
narrator.
See Doggy too.
No. Sorry. It's the professor and the mayor. The mayor. Tom Kenny did the other
Yeah.
one. Oh God, if it was Monkey See Doggy 2, that would be too much Mojo.
Too meta.
Yeah. All right. What's yours, monsters? Don't you say regular show.
Oh no, it's not.
Camp
Regular
Laszlo.
shows have been okay. I think it has Camp Laszlo on it.
The regular show.
Mine is the Cartoon Network Fridays DVD, Cartoon Network Volume 1. Not a lot of people know that this DVD exists, but it does. And basically what it is, for those of you not too informed with Cartoon Network history, there used to be a block called Cartoon Network Fridays, that came after Cartoon Fridays, where these two hosts, at first it was Tommy and Zynga, I think was her name.
Yes.
And then it became Tommy and Tara. Basically, they hosted, and they were live action, by the way. They hosted this block on Friday nights where they would premiere a bunch of Cartoon Network original shows. And the DVD, what's really cool about it is that it's basically like an unaired Cartoon Fridays broadcast, except it's a DVD exclusive. They referenced the fact that it's a DVD. And it's super cool. And not only is it just cool in that aspect, but it's a compilation DVD, which Cartoon Network hasn't done in quite a while. And it has some really cool episodes on it. The one episode I remember particularly was the Herbicidal Maniac, I think it's called, the Billy and Mandy episode.
With Scar.
Yeah, with Scar, where he's trying to do the plants. I'm trying to remember what other episodes were on the DVD, but I think it had an episode from Camp Laszlo,
Didn't it have an episode from a show that people hate.
Mike's and Partners a Monkey.
No, does it have Adam Jimmy's head on there?
No.
Okay, I thought because I know that show did air on Fridays.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, in the meantime, I'll try to see what episodes are on the DVD.
All right. Well, anyway, yeah, Simpsons also had a really good one. Good DVD release up to a point.
Oh. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so it had Hello Dolly from Camp Laszlo, which is the episode where Edward's obsessed with a doll. My Agent Partner's a Monkey, Bubble or Nothing, Scrambled Ed from Ed, Edd n Eddy, and Blues Brothers from Foster's Home, which, in my opinion, is a pretty good selection of episodes, all things considered. And another thing, too, is that it had a bunch of really cool special features. They had tons of really interesting trailers, like for Shaolin Showdown and Teen Titans, Trouble in Tokyo, a bunch of other cool trailers for Cartoon Network DVDs, which I guess in retrospect was all promotional material, but is, any special features is better than nothing for me. And they also had a ton of compilations of the skits that they had that would air during commercial breaks on Fridays, like the Aesop's Fables claymations and those things.
All right, well, that's a lot of DVD talk, and with that, I think that's going to be it for this week's recast. Woo!
Yep. Woo!
All right. Thank you guys for joining us. This was a great chat. Honestly,
yeah,
you guys were fantastic, both in the Discord server and in the YouTube chat. You were all very well behaved and very funny, very, very, involved. I liked it.
Yeah, lots of good stuff to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed our Lorax discussion and talking about the news and everything. So yeah. Next week, yeah, we'll probably announce it on Twitter when we know. There'll probably be some sort of poll of what we're gonna do. But yeah. So, with that, Pie Guy Rules out.
Catch you guys next time.